it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life story in order to help you in yours, or asexual life journey, should I say, in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, if you find it useful, helpful, insightful, entertaining in a way, shape or form. The thumbs up really help raise awareness of asexuality. And in today's episode, we are going to be discussing a deceiver that told me, who isn't the deceiver, to go and find another idiot. I'll be discussing that in a minute. But first, if you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. And I'm also the author of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, How to Manage Fibromyalgia to Have Less Pain, More Energy and Feel Happier like a Superhero Rock Star. And the links for those books can be found down below. But let's crack on with the video first. And so I was absolutely outraged. Now, on this channel, I did mention last year, there was a guy who started messaging me, right? So this guy was on Facebook. He just randomly started messaging me. He is a foreign guy. And from the looks of his picture, he looks probably about, I don't know, early 20s, like probably 20, 21, something like that, right? And this was, he asked me how I was, speaking in kind of kid language, how are you, right? And so this was on the 27th of October last year, right? So I just put hi, and he put, how are you? And I put, great, thanks. And he put some dove vieni, I don't know what it says. And then, where are you from? What are you doing? And then he starts saying hi again. So in November the 20th, I said, I'm from the UK. I'm looking for a guy in the UK for a relationship, not abroad. And I see you live abroad, so wouldn't be suitable for me. I don't like sex. I don't like marriage, and I don't want kids. Why do you not like children and marriage is the main reason. And why do you not like a man from the bar? I just love to do nothing. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what the heck that language is. Obviously, he can't speak proper English, or he just can't speak properly at all. Anyway, I put question mark, and then he put, do you believe in love? And I put, love is not sex, love is not marriage, love is not having children, all are separate. Then he put, why not everything happens in Lahore, which is actually somewhere from, like, yeah. Anyway, he put Lahore. Anyway, I put, it has love and marriage and children too. And I put, I don't want that. I love living on my own in the UK. Then he proceeded to say, tell me why I don't like having a baby and getting married. Why do you dislike it? I put, I don't want it or like it. I hate sex. I hate marriage and don't want kids. I don't believe in it. Not for me. Find someone else. Well, you seem to like me anyway. You are talking about. Well, you were the one who messaged me first from my asexual singles. But I didn't realise it wasn't asexual singles. It was actually the singles group that's not asexual, which is why obviously he's being like this with me. Right, this is a dating group he's in. So I joined some sexual dating groups last year. So I got it mixed up. It was a sexual dating group, right? Sexual singles, not asexual singles. But now I know you didn't read my post, so no good. I made it clear I was looking for a guy in the UK with no sex, no marriage, no kids. And then he put, just friendship, cannot tell. You also like the friendship that you just like. Give me your WhatsApp number. No, on WhatsApp. And got friends. I'm not on WhatsApp and I got friends, thanks. If you ever want, you have your religion, so give it or not. Right? So I never heard from him till tonight, right? I've been out late night food shopping tonight, right? Which is why I started the stream a lot later. Okay? And just before I started the stream, as I got back from food shopping, I unpacked everything. And I was just looking at my phone about to write an updated post to say I'm so happy my local supermarket has decided to basically wash down the shelves with the virus that's going around as I'm recording this live at the moment. And and then I saw this guy go to video chat with me. So obviously you don't know what you're going to get when you video chat with someone, but you're hoping that they're going to be like their picture and they're going to be nice, right? And so I couldn't remember this conversation because he video chatted with me out of the blue. I couldn't even remember this conversation. It's only like I'm looking back in Messenger now to refresh my memory so I can speak to you about it. And so, yeah, so I couldn't remember all this conversation that I'd had. All I remember is he wasn't suitable for me. And if I remember right, I didn't want to speak to him. So I stopped talking to him, right? That's all I remembered. And then when he started video chatting, I thought, do I just video chat or not? I thought, oh, well, because he looked really young in his picture, I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I pressed the video button, and this guy, this supposed guy who looks really young in his photographs, like between 19 and 21, he pressed his I pressed my camera. I thought, right, okay, let's do this. So he was a guy who didn't look like his picture. Apart from, well, there was some remoteness there, but he's a lot older than his picture, right? Admittedly by him. So he was in bed, which obviously is a very sexual thing to do as it is. Very sexual thing to do. And he starts talking to me in his bed, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. Why are you video chatting with me? And then he started talking, going, where are you from? I said, the UK. I said, I'm not looking for a guy abroad. And he's like, oh, I'm from Brazil, but Lahore isn't in Brazil anyway. So he started then saying to me, like, I'm 48. And clearly in his picture, he does not look 48, right? He's very, oh, hi, Sam. Nice to see you. Lovely to see you, my friend. This is a guy on Facebook that, just to recap, because obviously Sam's come in the middle of a conversation. This guy messaged me on Facebook last year, right, in October. Bear in mind it's October. November, I hadn't heard from him for ages. I didn't want to. I couldn't remember our conversation. I've just gone over the conversation, but I couldn't remember it. Then all of a sudden, this guy decides, when I got home from shopping, because I was out really late food shopping tonight, just about to write a post on Facebook, he decided he wanted to video chat with me. I couldn't remember what he was from at the time. Now, looking back, he was a member of the sexual singles, but not asexual singles, sexual singles. I got it mixed up. It's a sexual singles group. You know, I'm in a couple of sexual ones on Facebook. But they're supposed to be, well, one's for the UK only and the other one's UK, but got other people in it. And anyway, so, you know, this is the guy that decided to video chat with me tonight. I couldn't remember who he was. I remember I spoke to him in Messenger. I remembered his picture, which looks like seriously, he looks like between 19 and 21 years, probably about 21 years. And so I was quite like, who are you? Why are you messaging me? Why are you video chatting with me? And he started saying, where do you live? And I said, in the UK. I said, but I'm not looking for a guy. I said, I can't really even remember how we know each other. How do we know each other? Because I couldn't see this chat, because he just immediately came up with a video where I was trying to write a Facebook post, which I never actually finished. I just saved it in draft. And so he's like, oh, how old are you? He goes, I'm 48. And so obviously his picture is either a picture not of him, of one of his kids, because then he starts talking about having kids, or it's of him when he was like much younger, like much younger, right? So he said he was 48. How old are you? I said, I'm not telling you my age. I said, but I'm interested in younger guys. And then he started smiling, going, oh, I've got some boys. So obviously, if he's got kids, he's probably got a wife, especially in a foreign country, because they tend not to have children out of wedlock in foreign countries. So he goes, oh, I've got some boys. And it wasn't like it was what? They said, oh, maybe you like them. I said, well, I like guys in their 20s. And they started saying I'm 62. I said, but you've just told me you're 48. He goes, I'm 62, really. I said, so you're 62? I said, yeah, but that's way too old for me. And obviously, he's just scamming people with his picture, making him look like he's a really young guy, like in his early 20s. It's just complete fake, right? And he shouldn't even be in a dating group if he's got a wife and kids anyway. The hell is the matter with these people, right? And it was disgusting. So he started talking to me, carried on talking to me. And I said, well, you know, I'm interested in guys. I said, but I'm not interested. I said, but I'm not interested in a guy abroad. I'm interested in a guy in the UK, not abroad. He goes, well, why haven't you got a guy then? I said, because most of them like sex. And then he started like moving the bedclothes and stuff like that, and talking about his dick basically, and saying, oh, well, I've got a good thing down there. When you've got good sex. I said, I'm hetero, asexual and sexual orientation, not interested in sex. I don't get the need, urge, or want for sexual intercourse. I'm not interested in it. And he goes, oh, good luck finding another idiot then. I said, what did you say? Because he's got a strong accent. Because I wanted him to repeat it, because I thought maybe I'd heard him wrong. So I made sure he repeated. I said, what? He goes, good luck finding another idiot. I said, excuse, you know, what did you say? He goes, good luck finding another idiot. I said, why are you being so horrible to me? And anyway, I just thought, end the video chat, Sandra. So I ended the video chat, went on his profile and blocked him. Absolutely disgusting. I'm absolutely disgusted. Honestly, I was outraged. How can these people be that disgusting? You know, they think that they've got this magic dick from abroad over the internet that's really going to make me go woo. You know what I mean? What is the guy playing at? If he's got children, he's likely married anyway. And if he's got a wife, he's got kids. What's the point in going around chatting women up and phoning them up on the video just to talk? I mean, obviously, maybe he wanted to lead on to video sex or something because he was in bed when he was in bed. It was ignorant human, exactly, Sam. Absolutely ignorant. You know, he started moving the bedclothes a bit. I'm thinking, oh my God, are you going to show me your dick in a minute? And then he started saying about him being, oh, I'm good down there. And then he started talking about good sex. I said, no. You know, and calling me basically an idiot. Good luck finding another idiot. Like, I thought it was disgusting. And then I said, well, why are you being so horrible to me? You know, and I just thought, don't even go there, Sandra. He's not worth the hassle. So I just went off. I literally pressed the video button off and literally on his profile blocked him. It's disgusting. I don't know why people don't love the ones they're with. Honestly, that's another thing I don't understand. Why is it that married men that've got wife and kids are going around in dating groups trying to chat up other women and online trying to chat up other women? What is the point? They should be ashamed of themselves. It's disgusting. If you're meant to be committed to life in marriage, then don't blooming go around chatting other women up, video chatting with other women up. I mean, what sort of father does that when he's got kids and he's being like that? Like, what sort of guy does that to his wife and children? It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I don't agree with having affairs at all. I don't agree with going behind your partner's back and go around chatting other people up. I think it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You know? And the thing is, Sam, I'm censoring my response. Yeah. He doesn't deserve his wife if he is married. Doesn't show the sons a very good attitude. Exactly. You know, he's got some boys, plural. So I'm expecting he's got a wife. I mean, he doesn't come across as a guy who wouldn't have a wife. I mean, he's not going to look after two kids on his own. He was overweight. He's a big guy as well. Like on his picture. I mean, obviously, I don't really want to show his name because I don't really think that's right. But I don't know if I can show you his picture because he doesn't look like this picture. This is a young picture, you know. This is a picture he's got. You know what I mean? He looks really, really young there. I think he does anyway. No, but he's a much fatter in the face when you speak to him, and he's much bigger guy. So clearly that's probably either a picture of his son or most likely a picture of himself when he was like much younger. Yeah, because in the end he's 62. So it's probably like taken 40 years ago. And it's disgusting these people are going on the internet posting pictures of themselves where it's like 40 years younger. He doesn't look 48 or 62, more like 22. Exactly. Thank you, Sam. Now, I was a bit worried, but I mean, he doesn't look anything like that anyway, so it doesn't matter me showing you that because he doesn't look like that. I mean, maybe that was him when he was like 40 years younger or something. But I mean, he doesn't, I mean, he's all big in the face, big in the body. He doesn't look like that. Do you know what I mean? So, I just think it's ridiculous. I wanted to show how young he looked, just so you can get an idea of what these scammers or fakers do. I mean, well, they're deceiving, aren't they? Maybe that is him from 40 years ago, but it's deceiving. He's deceiving, yet he's calling me the idiot. I mean, and an idiot because I don't want sex. It's disgusting. You know, why is he going around doing that? I mean, he was in a bed. I'm sure that he's not. I'm sure that he's got a wife there. If he's got a couple, if he's got some boys, I don't even know how many boys he's got. If he's got some boys, he's not going to be at 62 years old. I doubt it very much on his own looking after some boys, plural, is he? Do you know what I mean? He's just not. So he's going to have a wife and kids. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. You know, and then he's like, oh, I've got some sons if you want one of them. And that is a bit weird anyway, a dad saying that. They don't usually say that. But that's when he started talking about his dick and how basically he goes, oh, he didn't use the word dick. He goes, I'm good down there or something. And when you've had good sex, yeah, but you want it loads or something like that, he's saying. Or you're going to love it or something like that. I can't remember. I tried to just like, I'm like, and then, like, oh man. It's just disgusting. I don't know what these people do with their life. I just hate it. I mean, I have to, people have to understand though that it's not just guys that cheat, it's women that cheat as well, because I have to say that, it's not, because a lot of the time, a guy who's a heterosexual guy, not all the time, because some heterosexual guys do actually have affairs with their own gender, but a lot of the time heterosexual guys have affairs with other women, so the other women are allowing that to happen, in which case they're partaking in the cheating in and of itself. So you've got to ask yourself that where there's loads of cheating guys, there's likely to be quite a high proportion of cheating women, which people don't think about. They think, oh, the guy's so bad, which the guy is bad, don't get me wrong, but I just wanted to, I just want people to think a bit more than wherever there's a cheating guy, like I obviously didn't allow him to cheat. I'm not interested in it. I mean, I didn't go down the fact that you're obviously married, but obviously he was, I thought he was a young guy, single, because he's in the dating group. You know what I mean? I didn't have no idea he's going to look like that or have boys, I don't even know how many he's got, or be like that. I couldn't even remember where I saw him from. But I just remember I thought he was from a dating group, but I couldn't remember which one. I couldn't remember exactly how I knew him, but I remembered he was interested in me. Was all I remembered. But like some guys, they tend to think women are so sweet and innocent. There are some really nice, kind, caring women. I mean, there's some on this channel, obviously. There's Heather and Michaela and Nicoletta. Those are some of the people that watch my channel. They're all beautiful. But there are some women, you have to understand that wherever there's a guy cheating, a guy that's actually partaking in cheating, a lot of the time, it's a woman involved in that, which the woman's then helping the guy to cheat. The woman's cheating with the guy on their girl. Do you know what I mean? Sam, I have known females that have cheated. Cheating is a matter of personality, not gender. Exactly. But what really annoys me is a lot of guys are taken in by a lot of women thinking all women are sweet and innocent. And a lot of women can emotionally manipulate guys, if they want to. Not all women. Some women just wouldn't do that. But there are a lot of guys that can, when I say emotionally manipulate them, I don't mean just crying. I mean, as well, not just crying. Sometimes they can turn, that on. But I mean, like women can sometimes, how can I put it? They can sometimes obviously give the little sob story, but a lot of the time they can get into guys' affections, like slither into their affections by having an emotional connection with the guy. And heterosexual women particularly use this to their advantage sometimes. That they're there for the guy, they'll do this, that, and the other for the guy, and they'll be there when their wife's not, and stuff like that. It's just like, if there's a problem in the relationship, the husband should be talking to his wife, not another woman. And the girl should be saying, look, I think you should be talking to your wife about this and getting it sorted. If you're not interested in being with your wife anymore, just cut her loose and let her go and get a good guy who's grateful and thankful to be in a relationship with her. Do you know what I mean? So I just had to put that in there. But obviously this type of guys, it's disgusting. Obviously there's some guys that cheat on women. Or try to cheat on other women, It's just disgusting. And I'm glad I'm asexual, I'm glad I'm not one of those people that goes around cheating on people like that, It's horrible. I mean, some women would be flattered. I get other married men like wanting guys I've known married. Like I was an entrepreneur type of. Oh, I thought he was an entrepreneur type of guy. He was in a lot of like group. Well, he was in a major entrepreneur group that I was in. So I thought, oh right, and he was connected to a lot of entrepreneurs now. So fine, I thought it was business, and then he started like getting funny with me because I wouldn't video chat with him. Why won't you video? I said, because you're a married man. Why? I don't know the guy for a start. It's not like he's a friend. He's a stranger. And why do I want a video chat with an older? I mean, this guy looked in his 60s, probably. Why do I want to chat with an older guy on video chat who I don't even know when he's married? It just makes no sense. It's ridiculous. And what the hell's he hoping to get out of it? Especially if he's not really a business guy. I don't know, but anyway. But yeah, so I just wanted to tell you, and I just want to show the picture because I wanted you to be aware of these type of scammy people. But obviously I've heard about the fact that people post much younger pictures, and when I just want to bring it to light, really, that obviously there are a lot of problems on the internet, and this is one of the problems you can get, whether they're nothing like their picture, or even if they're similar to their picture, they could be like he is. He's I'm saying there's anything wrong specifically with someone who's overweight or a big guy. There's someone for every type of body shape, but when the guy is posing as this young, handsome, good-looking, probably like 21, like you said, 22-year-old, clearly thin, clearly wearing the latest, looks like he's more trendy in clothes, speaking like that in message as well, pretty much, and then really you find out the damn truth. You know what I'm saying? These people are scams. And well, I don't know if you call it a scam, but these people are deceiving people online, and you've got to understand that it's disgusting what goes on. And I just want to prove to you that it was actually true, because you hear a lot of people saying, oh well, when I should never meet anyone random like that off the internet without video chatting with them first. And this is why I always say video chat with someone first. I'm always really clear about that. Skype date before you meet someone in person. Never just go and meet them. Video chat. We're in the modern day now. We don't need to just be doing email. We don't need to be just doing phone calls. We don't need to be just doing text. There is video. If a guy can't video because he's so old he can't video and he uses his age as an excuse, or he's too young and he doesn't usually do that, if he's not prepared to do that for you, fine. Forget him, right? Or her, or whoever, whatever gender, forget them. They're not worth it. This is why I always say video chat with someone if you meet anyone on the internet, even if they say they're asexual. Because remember, I always meet a lot of people who are not really asexual. Sam, I have been messaged by married guys wanting to engage in stuff behind the wife's back. Really sorry, Sam. I know you've told me this before. It's disgusting. Even if I was a sexual person, I wouldn't be a participant to that. No. I updated my profile picture loads just to make sure it's up to date. Yeah, I mean, my profile picture, I still look like my profile picture, If I ever don't look like my profile picture, I'll change it. I don't change much. Yeah, if they have nothing to hide, then why not video chat? Yeah. I mean, this guy did a video chat with me. That's why I was quite shocked at the difference. It was quite like, you don't really, I mean, he did look somewhat like his picture, but obviously he looks a much older version of him, or like he's put a kid's picture there, not really him. It probably was him 40 years ago. But exactly, if they have nothing to hide, why not video chat? If they have nothing to hide, they should video chat with me. If they have nothing to hide, they should connect with me on Facebook. And this goes the same for you. If they're not prepared to connect on Facebook, that's usually because they got a lot of other women all over their Facebook page, or it's full of sex or something. And also some of them connect with you on Facebook and they've got hardly anything on their profile. It tells you nothing about them. Do you know what I mean? It'll be like one picture repeated. Oh yeah, that's another guy I forgot to tell you about tonight, right? So this other guy, but this was a nice short conversation, one of the shortest conversations I've ever had. This was a guy in the UK actually. And I didn't know how he knew me. Right, because I couldn't see that he was a member of the same group as me, but he is. He's a member of UK Singles, which is a sexual dating group sexual dating group on Facebook, right? But I couldn't see that earlier. It didn't come up that he was in the same group, so I didn't know that. So I put, and he friend requested me, and I just put, don't think we know each other. So he put a thumbs up, so I thought that's fine. And then he put, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm single. I live in London, in Kilburn. WBU, meaning what about you? I mean, this guy looks too old anyway. He's got chest hair. He's not really my type. He looks way too old for me. He looks like he's in his 40s. I don't like chest hair, and he looks too old for me. But I put, I live in the UK. This is really funny. This is a very short, sweet conversation. Sweet my side. I put, I live in the UK, but in Devon, and I'm hetero, asexual, and sexual orientation. Not heterosexual, so I don't experience sexual attraction and don't want sex in a monogamous relationship. Good luck with your search. And that was it. So in that case, he actually didn't speak to me again. Woohoo! But I mean, this person clearly must have seen my profile and must have seen my picture in the group, and must have, must have seen the picture in the group. And yeah, I've got quite a lot of photographs on my Facebook profile as well. Oh, like modern ones and older ones, so people can see my whole journey. But I've got ones like that are really modern because I take pictures quite regularly. Like I took, was it 2 or 3 recently in the last week? Um, so yeah. But yeah, at least this guy took notice and he didn't bother contacting me again. But it's like, it's like I write a post, say I'm a heterosexual, not heterosexual, but I don't want sex. So I don't know why I didn't read it. But instead of me like thinking he's read it, I thought, well, I bet you haven't read it, or you probably just don't understand it. So I just, said that to them. And that was pretty much the end of that. Chest hair, meh. Exactly, Sam. I don't like chest hair. My Facebook is only like 13 months old. Oh yeah, I remember that because you got a new Facebook. Yeah, but you have got quite a few pictures on there. I think you got you haven't just got one, have you? And you post loads of stuff, so people can see a lot on my profile. Exactly, people can see a lot on your profile, and people can see a lot on your profile. So people can see loads on mine. It's public. I don't hide anything. But usually it's asexuals guys that I'm interested in have more of a problem with being connected to me on Facebook than sexual guys. It's like, oh, I can't be connected to someone or have a girlfriend who's publicly asexual. It's like, well, I ain't gonna stop doing public asexual stuff. Oh, yours is public too. That's cool, Sam. I didn't actually know that. But yeah, I think it's really except some of my posts. Okay. I think it's really important that, if you are asexual and you're gonna get with another asexual, that that you're proud of it. You know what I mean? There's nothing to be ashamed of being asexual. There's nothing to be ashamed of at all. You have as much right to be asexual as someone does to be sexual. And the more we talk about asexuality, the more we bring it to people's minds, the more we let people know, the more we're going to be accepted, and it's going to become the norm eventually. Do you know what I mean? For some people to be asexual, and that's what I want for us. I mean, the more people I tell, the better. But a lot of them, they just don't take it seriously. It's like in the sexual dating group that I'm in, the UK one, that I said about being asexual. I spoke about that yesterday because they were saying, what's your sexual preference? I said I'm asexual. The woman admin, she was good. She did remove their post, and they go, oh, that's weird. Have you seen it? Blah, blah, her profile, blah, blah. And there's quite a few people that have laughed at my post, but it's like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? You can laugh all you want, but it's a genuine sexual orientation. I actually said in there that it's a genuine sexual orientation. I've been a speaker at the UK Asexuality Conference. I write books for asexuals and do a YouTube channel. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's absolutely preposterous that anyone would think it's not real. If it wasn't real, people wouldn't buy my book, would they? People wouldn't buy this asexual book if they weren't asexual. Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, an odd sexual person might buy it. There's someone even left a review that isn't asexual, and they really enjoyed the book. But do you know what I mean? That's good. Like asexual T-shirts wouldn't exist. It's not just me that does asexual merchandise. It's loads of other people that do asexual merchandise. Oh, by the way, if you ever want asexual merchandise, there's links to it down in the description as well. But yeah, I just think it's absolutely preposterous. That some people can't accept the fact there's a different sexual orientation. I mean, it's common sense and logic to me that not everyone in the world is going to want and need sex. Do you know what I mean? No one in the world's going to want and like and need everything, are they? It's just ridiculous. It's common sense that some people aren't going to like everything the same as everyone else. There's going to be some people in the world that doesn't like sex, just as there's some people that don't like Brussels sprouts. Just there's some people like me who don't like pizza, which is quite rare. Even when I could eat stuff, I can't eat stuff like that anymore anyway because of allergies. But even when I could eat, I tried pizza bread and I wanted to throw up. I hate pizza. Oh, it's disgusting. I must be one of the few people that doesn't like that. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. So it stands to reason that some people are not going to want sex, and I don't know why it's not logical in people's brains. To me, it seems such a logical thing, and it seems really illogical that people would believe that everyone in the world's the same and everyone has got to like sex. Sam, Brussels are yuck. Pizza is so-so. More cheese, the better. I do eat the Brussels sprouts occasionally at Christmas, but they're not very good for the tummy. But I do eat them at Christmas. Yeah, I'm okay with eating a few. I'm not very keen on parsnips, so I don't really eat parsnips. I pass on parsnips usually. Um, but do you know what I mean? It stands to reason if there's certain foods people don't like, then not everyone's going to like sex. I don't know why people can't understand that. And there's lots of people in the world that, that are not asexual, but they've got disabilities that stops them having sex. They can have, if they've been in accidents, the whole body can be in pain. They don't I know it's not the same as asexuality, because asexuality is the lack of sexual attraction and we don't get the need urge or want for it. Whereas those people probably would get the need urge or want for it. They just can't partake in it. But obviously, not everyone is having sex. That's what I'm trying to say. And there's someone for everyone in life. Sam, people are not too good as recognizing that others are actually entitled to their own thoughts and feelings. That's a very good point, Sam. I agree with you. People aren't very good at that, people don't understand the type of life I want. They can't understand why I don't want marriage. They can't understand why I don't want kids, and they particularly can't understand why I don't want to live with someone. I mean, from the point of view of safety, I think it's good to have someone else living in the same house as you if the person's a good person to be with. Do you know what I mean? Because I love where I live now. I've lived here for 15 and a half years now on my own, but I live in my own self-contained flat in the middle of a big house with those other people around. That people are really good people. We don't have much to do with each other. We keep ourselves to ourselves. So it's very much like you live your own life within the whole house. Other people will probably think it's quite weird. I'm just so used to it. It's just not normal for me. But there's two people that live in the rest of the house and one guy that lives upstairs. We will say hello to each other occasionally, but it's like I'm very good because I can block out things. So I have to go through their hallway, their main house hallway, and up the stairs to get to my flat. And the people that live, the main daughter and mother that live in the house, they've lived here. Well, the daughter's lived here longer than I have. And so, I'm used to that type of setup, but I don't look in their rooms. Even if they got the doors open, I try not to look, and they like that about me. A lot of people can do that. They can help but going, but I'm very good like that. I respect people's privacy, especially when it is completely opposite the norm. Oh yeah. People, I agree with that, Sam. A lot of people, they're not good at recognizing others can have their own thoughts and feelings. And when it does differ a lot from the norm, the norm being the heterosexual world. But I think just because we're a minority doesn't mean to say we're not right. I don't think anyone pops out of the womb going, "Hey, I want sex." I just don't see it somehow. You know what I mean? I just think it's when the hormones set in that some people turn sexual. So I don't think, there's quite a lot of theories about, as asexuals got hormone imbalance and all the rest of that rubbish. But I think it's most likely the opposite of when certain people, a lot of the population, get hormones which create sexual attraction and sexual desire, that we don't get those hormones, and that makes them sexual. But that's not necessarily a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing. To be quite, I mean, it's good from, if you want children or to keep the species alive in a natural way, then you could argue that's a good thing. Procreation in a natural way, rather than a test tube or artificial insemination or other. But you know what I mean? I don't think that the majority are right in that sense that they just think that's the way everything should be, and I don't think that way. I think when you're born, I don't think you naturally pop out the womb or wherever from and think that you're gonna, hey, I'm gonna be having sexual attraction now and I want sex. It just doesn't happen. Usually it's some hormones that change them into being a sexual being and change them into having sexual attraction. So I don't see how asexuals can be wrong, or the ones that are in balance, because it's the hormones that have changed those people into wanting sex, or experiencing sexual attraction, experiencing sexual desire, whereas we're really sticking to our own original form. I mean, that's what I believe, really. And then you get but you get lost in everyone else's hormonal setup. Well, not everyone else, there's not asexuals obviously, but you kind of get programmed and conditioned to believe that heterosexuality is your normal sexuality, and that you should be like that. And if you're not, because the majority are, there's something wrong with you. But I don't actually think that way. I think the opposite. I'm thinking kind of like, oh, what's happened? What's gone wrong in evolution? when kind of all these people are like getting hormones and then they're experiencing sexual attraction and they're so obsessed with sex. I kind of think that's a bit weird and wrong. I mean, because some of them are obsessively obsessed with sex. Do you know what I mean? And it's to an unhealthy level. I think it's unhealthy when they're going behind their partner's back, behind their wife's back, and they're trying to video chat with people like me on the internet they don't even know. That's what I think is really unhealthy. I think they're imbalanced, really. I mean, what type of person goes around doing that other than someone who's not balanced in their life and happy with their circumstances and who's looking for something else? You know what I mean? So I don't think asexuals are wrong at all. I think really asexual is the original type of sexuality. And that years ago, because obviously the asexuality does actually go back years ago, that originally, you know, people had sex mostly for procreation, and then all of a sudden it just flower power age came in, and it was all more like free spirit, free sex. And like, you know, let's get really sexual. Do you know what I mean? That's my theory. That's my personal opinion. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion and thoughts on that. But I just like putting a different thought to people, you know, a different way of thinking, a different way of living. You know, I kind of looking back, you know, I know that I was asexual from a very, very, very young age, always been asexual, but I didn't know it at the time. But now I look back at my life, I know I was. You know, I know I'm quite unusual in the sense that I do have a high arousal levels, which I think is very weird when you're asexual. I think that can be very, very strange feeling for the person like me who has experiences it. I find I'm less like that lately than I was before. So I don't know if that's because I actually go out sometimes and kiss guys at a club now and I haven't got such a need for kissing as I used to all the time, or whether I just are going off the arousal thing, or whether I just don't let guys touch me in those places. You know, so I don't know. But yeah, I just honestly think that a lot of asexuals, they're born asexual and they just don't realise it. And then it's something to do with chemical reaction, hormonal stuff that makes other people heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, no, sexual, makes them have sexual attraction, in other words, have sexual desire and sexual attraction. That's what I actually think is the truth, really. It makes a lot more sense that way, because I don't think anyone pops out going, hey, I'm going to have sex. Way, I've just been born. I'm so sexually attracted to everyone. I mean, obviously, it's very interesting. Well, I say obviously, it's very interesting. If you didn't know this because I haven't told you yet, but there was a guy who spoke to me. He was heterosexual, but as time's gone on, he was more grey asexual. Anyway, I'll just park that because that's the only thing I kind of found out about him. But he didn't identify as asexual anyway. But he wasn't really interested in having sex. So yeah. Anyway, it was very interesting because he was having conversations with me, which I'm not going to go into everything because I think it's too personal. But he was saying to me that he remembers from a young kid being attracted to his babysitter. So therefore, he must have been super young. And he did remember being attracted to her. So maybe some kids do actually experience sexual attraction from a very, very young age. Because, you know, like, because obviously I've just given my theory, but then I'm kind of counteracting that with a little something else. I don't think everyone pops out and like wanting sex, and clearly later on he wasn't bothered about sex. But I just thought I'd say something else from a asexual's point of view, not asexual, a sexual person's point of view, just to put some other idea forward than my own. And yeah, so he did say about he liked a woman in a specific type of blouse because he remembered the babysitter wearing it. I mean, obviously he must have been really young and he was attracted to the babysitter, and this type of blouse turned him on sexually when a woman wore it. So obviously he must have been kind of a bit turned on sexually by his babysitter. I've always wondered that. I've always kind of thought, are any guys who have female babysitters actually attracted to them when they're young? but I didn't kind of think about it when they were actually, like, I don't know how old he was when he was having a babysitter. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how old he was in that time, but I just thought that's very strange. And it's interesting because if that's the case, and obviously some people do experience sexual attraction very, very, very early on, and not necessarily when it's teenager hormones happen. So I just wanted to give something to kind of counteract my own thoughts. Really. I don't know if that's very helpful, but I want to tell you the truth because I think it's interesting. And I think it puts another point of view forward, even though it's not my own. But I still, I still think that not necessarily everyone pops out the womb going, hey, I'm interested in sex, you know what I mean? But I guess some people, maybe like him, became more sexually awakened when they were younger, I guess, really young. So I guess that it can happen from an early age. But looking back equally, there's, definitely enough evidence that I know I was asexual from a child. Basically, I've always been asexual and didn't realise it. So, I guess maybe there are signs that someone is sexual from a very, very early age, just like there's signs that someone is asexual from a very early age. And it's just the way people are. We're just different. We're just born and we just are different. I mean, my parents are heterosexual. They're not asexual. So it doesn't come from my parents, because there is a theory that maybe asexuality is a bit hereditary. Because there are some people that have spoke to me like in message and stuff, and some of their families been asexual too. So I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm just saying, like my parents are definitely not asexual, whereas I am. So that's I don't think there's anyone asexual in my whole family. So yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Just kind of exploring these theories and that. But what isn't good to do is, like Sam says, it's not good really, people people can't accept what they don't understand. And Sam said about the fact that people are not too good at recognizing that others are actually entitled to their own thoughts and feelings. And that's why I just think, some people obviously do have some sexual urges or attraction early on in their life, and other people don't, and that's okay. Like some people are born asexual and have an absence of sexual attraction from a very early age, and that can be true obviously for some sexual people, and for others they don't know it till they're later on in their life. So I think everyone's valid. But I just don't think it's very nice when people put people down about being asexual, find some other idiot, which is what that guy said to me on Facebook, is just disgusting. I can't wait if I do find the right guy for me, if I do find, otherwise I'll be single forever. But I'm looking forward to having lots of romantic times and kisses and cuddles and affection without sex. I've always preferred a teenager style relationship. It doesn't matter what age I am in birth certificate age. I always prefer a teenager style, not a teenage relationship, not a relationship with a teenager style. So what I mean by that is like all the kissing, all the cuddling, all the affection. I like a lot of affection, a lot of kisses, so a lot of intimacy physically with my clothes on. I like, like I remember even when I was 15, the stuff I did like when I was 15 years old. And I like that stuff now, like if I've got a boyfriend, I like to sit on his lap, sit in between his legs, kiss him, cuddle him, go around the theme park, zoos and aquariums, kissing and cuddling. And I've had that kind of relationship in the past with my heterosexual ex for 8.5 years, So for me, I know it's very possible. I haven't had that with an asexual person yet. Obviously with a heterosexual, there's sex stuff involved. So it's a bit different. But I like all that teenager style stuff, where, without the actual expectation or wanting or needing of sex. Sam, everyone is different and people should be more accepting. Exactly. Everyone is different. People should be more accepting. People should accept that, just because we're asexual doesn't mean to say we've got some hormone imbalance or there's anything wrong with us. For many of us, it's how we were actually born like. It's what we were always destined to be. It's our life. It's our path. It's our, elite special ace team thing, I mean, 1% of the population that are asexual is still a lot of asexuals. And there's probably a lot more people that are asexual, just don't realise it or don't want to be out about it, because it's a scary world out there. Clearly, when people are calling me, find some other idiot, which basically is saying that I'm an idiot as well. Do you know what I mean? So people should be really accepting, we should accept each other's sexual orientation. And people in relationships shouldn't just think about what they can get out of relationships. Do you know what I mean? It should be giving as well to the other person, I'm going to do more on that in another video about giving and receiving, because I think it's a topic that deserves its own video, which I was thinking about earlier on before this guy decided to pop up, and I thought I'd do a video on him, because I thought, and about the fact that, be careful on the internet. Do not go and meet someone you haven't video chatted, because they might look nothing like their picture. Thanks, Sam. Yeah. People should be more, some people get into relationships, they just literally think about what they can get out of it. I will definitely cover that in another video. I'll see if there's any more things that I need to talk about before then, but I've actually written it down to do in another video, so I'll do it in a video soon about giving and receiving rather than giving and taking like loads of people do. So I think that deserves a video of its own, because otherwise it'll be another hour-long video. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you, that's what I was agreeing with. Yeah, I thought you were, Sam. Yeah, about giving. Yeah, in a relationship you should give, not just take. And clearly these people that go around doing that to their wife, going around and deceiving their partner, they're interested in is taking whatever they can from their current relationship and trying to take from other people some sexual thrill or fantasy or whatever. I mean, guys like that, I mean, how will you even meet me anyway? He's in another flaming country. It's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So too many people, they don't, they're not grateful for what they've got. They can't even see what's in the front of their nose and appreciate it. And they just take, And I'm starting to go into the next video now, so I better, leave that for another video next. Otherwise, I'll be talking about all that stuff. Yeah. But I think it's very important to talk some more about that and to discuss that, especially to do with relationships and dating. It's a very important topic. So I'm going to give a video, whole live stream to that, I think. But yeah, so I think I'm going to conclude tonight's video, but I just wanted to say, watch out for these people on the internet whose picture is either looking nothing like them or looking like a completely younger version, and you won't know that until you video chat with them. So please, 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 whatever you do, err on the side of caution and insist a video chat. Even if you're scared yourself on video chat, even if you're shy and nervous, it is better to do that for your own safety than meet with someone you don't know. I know someone recently posted that they were caught out on an asexual dating app. They didn't name the app, but we all know there's usually one asexual dating app, but they didn't name it. So maybe it's, there are some other websites that say there are asexual websites as well. And they said that they got scammed really badly, So be careful, because on some of the asexual dating apps, there's people on there that are not really asexual, people that are scammers in terms of money, or they're scamming with their identity. They're scamming because they're not really asexual. There's one guy and he changed it, he kept coming up with his profile picture, and then I found him on Facebook. He got about 3 or 4 different Facebook accounts with all sexual women all over it, So just be very careful, Make sure that you research the person. If a person won't tell you their social media stuff, don't bother with them. Right? Sam, I've seen 2 people recently mentioning that. I'm glad that you said that, Sam, because that's what I wanted to really point out in today's video, is that, you got to be careful. I'm very clued up. I don't trust everyone online. I know a lot of the time when people are scamming. Me and Sam, right? Me and Sam had this one guy interested in both of us, because we're both interesting guys. This one guy told me he didn't ever want to get married, didn't he? And then he told Sam that he did. Complete liar. Complete liar. Do you know what I mean? He obviously can't be trusted. And And, you know, this is what happens. But a lot of the time, for example, there's an asexual dating app called ASAP, right? And there's some genuine people on there. I'm genuine. Sam's on there and Sam's genuine. There's some other genuine people. And some people I got one person to come to my asexual meetup through that. Oh, two people, sorry, come to my asexual meetup in the UK. So there are genuine people on there that I can get to my meetups, and I've talked to some others that I've seen on other places that I know are genuine. But there are a lot of scammers on there as well. You've got to be so careful. But I can usually spot them a mile off because I can see the signs even before they've even said something to me. Just their profile, what they put on it's just the same. Those patterns. Sam, he didn't know we knew each other. Teach him not to lie. Yeah, he didn't know we knew each other. It's funny. I mean, it's not funny that he lied, but it's good that we saw the truth. It's a foreign guy, in case you were wondering. You probably gathered that. But yeah, because we're both... Well, Sam doesn't mind British or foreign. I'm usually foreign, mostly. Mostly, because obviously I had a short spell with a boyfriend that was British last year. You know, if it's a nice, really good-looking, cute British guy and I could get everything I wanted in a relationship, then sure, I consider it, you know? But yeah, so I'm glad we're doing this video because I just want to point out these people, you know? It's not nice that people do this, you know, but it's very important, you know, if they look nothing like their picture and they're just like randomly video chatting with you. I mean, that guy clearly didn't mind video chatting with me, but I mean, in bed, obviously, he's probably going to show me something else. I mean, you start to move the bed covers. I'm like, I think I was seeing his belly and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what else I'm going to see. I'm going to end this video now. So yeah, just be careful out there, you know, be very careful. I can easily spot people. Don't be so trusting of people, you know. Ask them for their Facebook profile if you want to get to know them a bit better. But a lot of them, they're scammers. You'll see that they've got things missing off their profile on the app. You'll see they'll probably have the same type of job, the same type of age. They'll start it by "Hello, dear." That's usually quite a common one I get. "Hello, dear." I'm like, oh, you're sexual. Bye. Asexuals don't really talk to you like that usually. I mean, if they're foreign, sometimes they can, but most of the time, you know, some foreigners can go, "Oh, yes, dear, thanks," you know, but it's like, I don't know if I can like say some of the stuff, but on ASAP, for example. But I mean, I just know the scammers, you know, I'm so aware of them. I just like, it's like knowing them in my sleep. A lot of them go off here anyway. They just, you know, I mean, it's this one. I keep getting the same thing over and over again. "Hello, will you be my sugar baby?" I mean, I've been getting that for months. And the pictures are all fake. They use people's pictures off the internet and they put the same silly stuff, like same similar age, same similar job. Oh, here we go. I just blocked him. "Hello, dear. How are you doing?" Blocked. Sexual guy, scammer. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't even need... Look, this guy is 46, divorced, Nigeria, ASAP. And he's saying he's an aromantic asexual. What he probably means to say is he is a romantic sexual person. Because don't forget, a lot of these people that don't understand asexuality, they think aromantic means aromantic and asexual means asexual person. So they're a romantic sexual person. That's probably what... And they put stuff like military with no picture. Do you know what I mean? 46, male, divorced, that they're in Nigeria looking for friendship and work in the military. I mean, it's just like, yeah, don't... And then all they're talking about is ASAP because, yeah, clearly. But I've had some people, they say they live in one country in their profile, and then they come on and go, "I live in this country." Actually, I've got that a lot with Mingle too, which is a sexual dating site. They say that all the time. They say, "Oh, you know, it's like, I'm in this country, but hi, I'm from this country." I'm like, well, that's not what it says in your profile. You're a liar. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't just happen on asexual dating sites. There's a lot that happens scamming, obviously, on sexual dating sites. But a lot of asexuals are still on some sexual dating sites because we hold out hope that maybe we can find someone who'll love us or be with us without sex. So you've got to be very, very aware of all these people. When they start saying, hello, dear, oh, you look gorgeous, oh, you look so good, just be very, very careful, It depends how they say it, I'm not saying that all asexuals can't, ever say you look gorgeous, but usually a lot of the language asexual use is more like, oh, you're cute, or you're very beautiful, or you're very pretty. And I don't know, we just tend to talk in a different way. Sam, I've had quite a few US divorced military, male and female. Exactly, Sam. They are fakers. We all both, me and you know that, but some other people, they'll be like, oh, well, you never know. It's like, no, I do know. There's patterns of behavior they have. And Sam knows as well. I had a woman as well. Oh, what was it? Oh, this woman. She put, hello. I'm into guys only. But we can be friends, right? It's like, no, I do not want to be friends, right? I've had other people. This is a confused person. People change, even Satan was an angel. Yeah, right, whatever. Secretary. Don't really look like a secretary. But yeah, confused in United States. I mean, I'm not interested in a woman who does that. And if you remember, I spoke to someone. They've changed it now as well. That's what I mean. These people change as well. As soon as you say something you don't like in their profile, they change it. So if you remember when I was talking about that young guy who's 19 years old from Pakistan, I said, I'm looking for a guy in the UK. And I said that I can't be with a smoker. So he removed smoking and put, he's a non-smoker. Clearly he's not a non-smoker, because why would he put smoking in he's a smoker in the first place? You wouldn't do that, would you? So this woman's changed it now from just female to male, female, and non-binary. Yes, right, okay, really. Do you know what I mean? So you notice these people, if you ever go on their profile and say something you don't like about it, and then it's not suitable for you, and then the next day, or a short time later they change it, they're just lying and deceiving, because they only change it because you said something. It's like a profile picture. I have people change their profile pictures. I have people they just create new accounts, the same picture as well. I had that a couple of times. Oh yeah, this is another female. Hi baby. It's like, do I really look? One is I don't even know. Oh yeah, this is a female, and they're interested in males, but yet they're talking to me. This is how you find out that these people are fakers, scammers, liars, or deceivers, or all four of them. Because do you know what I mean? When they're saying they're interested in male, they're female, yet they're messaging me, hi baby. It's a load of complete rubbish. Do you see what I'm saying? And they write stupid stuff. Oh, their profession, they're soldiering, funnily enough. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they don't look like a soldier for a start, not saying they can't. But you know what I mean? It's like, again, military. It's ridiculous. Simple and devoted, so actually you feel sorry for them. When some people use animals in their pictures, it's got an actual term for it these days, but I can't remember what the term is. But there's a certain term where people, I'm not talking about just on asexual dating apps and sites, but sexual ones as well, where they purposely put a dog or cat, some sort of pet, in their profile picture so that you think they're sweet, innocent, and caring, because you associate the traits usually associated with a dog or cat as like sweet, kind, caring, innocent, cute. You associate these things with the person who's in the photograph. And some of these people, they borrow someone else's dog or cat, or they're at a friend's house, they'll take a picture with their friend's dog or cat, and even theirs. And there's quite a lot. I read a few months ago, there's quite a big scam going on with that, like across the board with dating, where literally, for example, particularly guys, they're getting cute dogs, or usually I think it's a dog, and they get the dog to be in the profile picture, and you automatically assume that guy's a kind, caring person, very loyal and genuine, unconditional love. Remember, that's what a pet symbolizes. So you associate those things with the person in the picture. It's all psychological. It's like psychological marketing and selling. It's a part of what they do in dating. And there was an actual article I read about it saying it's getting quite dangerous now, because people are believing that this is what all these people, guys or whoever, I know guys do it a lot, it's about. I'm not saying that everyone with a pet, because I've got a guinea pig, a lot of asexuals have got cats, all that's, they're not faking it, I'm not saying all these people are faking it. I'm not saying that. I mean, a lot of asexuals got cards. It's quite common. But you've got to know and understand they are people using that. It's quite a big scam, especially in the sexual dating world. So if you're on sexual dating sites, be very, very aware of it. But obviously some asexuals can do that. I mean, I met one guy who did actually tell me the picture of the cat is not his. And he was nice to me in the beginning, then he turned out to be quite horrible. He was one who said, oh yeah, he changed his profile to being in London when he wasn't actually in London. And then he said, oh, he told me he was coming to London, he had friends, but the friends had, he had no job to go to, didn't know where he was going to stay with his friends, couldn't give any definite thing, and he's just narcissistic basically. In the end, I just stopped speaking to him. I think I blocked him. Yeah, I blocked him, the pet wasn't even his own. So be very careful. I mean, some of these all paint a sob story as well, when really they're the ones that are not very good. So you just got to use your common sense, judgment, intuition a lot, feelings. Don't look at the airy fairy stuff like this. Like I said, this person here clearly is a liar and deceiver, because they are messaging me, hi baby, when they're clearly saying they're just interested in males, and that they're androgyny and I can't even pronounce that. Sam can spell androgyno romantic. Is that right? Which is, I believe, attracted to guys. But anyway, they put in their profile just interested in men, relationship with a male. But yeah, they're calling me hi baby. It's just ridiculous. Do you know what I'm saying? And you can look for that. So don't be taken in just by the pictures or a few like cute little words they use. Always look at the whole thing. Yeah, and andro-romantic. Oh, this is andro-gyno-romantic. So what's andro-gyno-romantic? Is that females? ANDROGYNO romantic. So, or have they just spelled it wrong? Oh, this is andro-gyno romantic. So that is females, but they've said they're interested in males. So I don't want to show the person's picture, but I don't know if you can see that. So they've put that they're just interested in guys, interested in males. See? But then they put, oh, gyno generally refers to female. Right, okay. But clearly they don't know what they're talking about then. So if they're putting gyno, andro-gyno romantic asexual, that is female. So yeah. So the andro-gyno romantic. So, but then they're putting interest in males. So they obviously don't even know what they're talking about. Like, obviously, I'm not sure because I don't know every single term. Yes. So yeah, but when people are writing stuff like that, which is a complete, like completely different, it's ridiculous. That why are they putting they're interested in guys if they're interested in andro male, gyno female. That's how you get androgynous, which is generally neutral. Yeah, that's why I was a bit confused, because this person said that person I told you about has got andro-gyno romantic. Andro-gyno romantic would seem to be they like neutral folk. All right, okay. But yeah, clearly they've put male in their profile. Looking for a male in their profile. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. But anyway, if you're looking for any contradictions like that, look at seeing any contradictions. It's just like, you've got to look out for it. But I've seen other people. I've seen guys that have got their interest in guys that are interested in me and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Oh, this guy actually asked me, like, I put this guy, I saw his profile, I live in the UK and not into marriage, but I hope you find your love, right? I was being nice. They put, hi, that's okay if you're not into marriage. Even I hope for you the same. Thanks. Nice. And then this is back in February. The next day, can you sponsor me to UK? And I put, no, I don't have that sort of money. I'm not a registered sponsor. I mean, what do these people, honestly? Do you know what I mean? So I have a blogging friend, right, who is British, and he went abroad and went to live abroad and married a foreigner. And he said to actually get a person in the UK, and he said it's 60 or 70,000 pounds to pay for someone to get in the UK. Yeah. And there's absolutely, exactly, that's mad. There's no absolute way that I would pay for someone to come in the UK. You know, if you are looking to come to the UK, you go and find a registered sponsor on the HMRC website, a proper official registered business sponsor. You know what I'm saying? Why would I spend money on a stranger sponsoring them to come to the UK? I don't even know them, not interested. I've got my own life and my own place to look after, thanks. Sam, I get messaged by heterosexual guys all the time, laugh out loud. Yeah, what is it with all the heterosexual guys who are actually into guys? It's ridiculous. I don't know why they just don't confess. They just like guys. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I actually think there are a lot more gay guys in the world than people believe there are, you know? But I think there's a lot more. I mean, when I'm on asexual dating sites, for example, a lot of the guys that I look at their profile picture in the UK, many of them are into guys. I think a lot more guys are into guys. You know, a lot of the guys that I like their picture, I'm like, oh, you're gonna be gay, gay asexual guy. I'm like, yeah, you're gay asexual guy. Sometimes I can spot them now. I'm like, if I really find you attractive but aesthetic, you're gonna be gay. And yeah, gay asexual, homo asexual, you know? So as opposed to homosexual. So yeah. Yes, it's usually the case. So I'm not surprised in that way, but it's just like, do you know what I mean? It's like, why don't more guys be honest if they're into guys? I think I think if the world was, you know, much more open-minded and no sexuality was off the table, none of it was taboo, I think there'd be a lot more guys that are into guys. There'd be a lot more people come forward as asexual. There'll probably be a lot more people come forward in lots of other weird and wonderful ways as well, because there is still a lot of prejudice. Exactly. Exactly. I do agree with you, Sam. There is a lot of prejudice still, and it's a shame. It's a shame people can't just be themselves. I don't see the point in living a lie. Do you know what I mean? Like I clearly say that I like foreign guys. I'm not shy on this channel, even though some people are like, "Oh, you're saying I like foreign guys again." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I can talk about what I want. You know, it's my channel. I'm being true to who I am. You know, I'm not sitting behind a computer screen pretending to be something I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I would completely rule out every single British guy either. But you know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of prejudice. Like some people can't be with someone who is foreign. There's a lot of prejudice against people that are foreign, whereas I actually love foreign guys. You know what I mean? I feel really at home with them. I feel really comfortable around them. In general. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they're part of my big, huge family. Do you know what I mean? I just get on really well with foreign guys. I just feel at home and comfortable. I feel more comfortable in general, physically, intimately with foreign guys than I do British guys usually. I've had relationships with both British guys and foreign guys in the past. But my British guys in the past, overall, I've had longer relationships with British guys than I have with foreign guys. So theoretically, you think I prefer British guys, but I still prefer foreign guys to be in a relationship with. Obviously, Sam's my best friend, and they're not foreign. Oh, I think you got foreign blood in you, though. You got Scottish blood in you, haven't you? I think he said. So you got some foreign. Yeah, well, not you know, a little bit of foreign blood in you if you call Scottish foreign. But yeah, so and my best female friend, she's got some foreign blood in her. I think Mordecai, our other friend, they've got foreign blood in them. I know somebody ever remotely like a British guy, usually they've got some sort of foreign blood or ancestry in them, which is quite interesting. But yeah, it's I think the world needs to just like let people be themselves, you know. I think people should do what they want to do, you know. There is one thing I do find difficult, I have to say. Being a hetero asexual girl, I find it difficult when they have gender neutral toilets and the guy leaves the door open. So it could be a bit taboo what I'm saying, but basically I went to this dance, right? This mermaid themed dance. I went with a group of people from a meetup group, and the dance, it was nice. It was older people, so I haven't been back since because you know what I mean. I'm into being around younger people, really, or at least younger thinking and being people most of the time. And but it was nice to do something different. And when it was gender neutral toilets, so that's okay. But I don't like it with the fact there's a toilet. The guy was having a pee, clearly a guy having a pee with the door wide open. It's like I don't want to see that. That's the only thing I find hard with. Obviously I'm fully female. That's the only thing I find hard with stuff like gender neutral toilets. I think that it's not okay for a guy to be at a toilet having a pee with the door open, but obviously in guys toilets usually they're at a urinal and it's like open with other guys. Do you know what I mean? Like every guy can just like basically a lot. That's the way it's society is. So when there's gender neutral toilets, a guy can kind of think, well, I do this in front of the guy, so I may as well do it in front of a woman. But I actually find that quite insulting and disgusting. Sam, I'm completely open about being agender. Yay! Ace, interest in any gender, but more male and androgynous. And that I'm crazy about Harry Styles. Yeah, Scottish and Italian ancestry. Oh, there you go, you see. Sam, I don't like male toilets at all, but pretty much for that reason. I do not want to see anyone else doing their business. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like it either, Sam. I'm glad you said that because obviously I know you are gender neutral, because you're agender. So I'm glad you said that because I just find it disgusting that if I respect that some people want gender neutral toilets. I get that, but for me it's not appropriate when when a guy's doing that. It's like I don't want to know. I remember when I went to Disneyland Paris in 2017 for my 21st Mindset birthday, which I absolutely loved. Can't wait to go there again one day. And and I had to go in the male toilets, the actual male toilets, not gender neutral toilets, the male toilets, because the female were being clean. And I had to go. This guy was having a pee in the urinal, and I had to walk past him and go in the cubicle. Luckily, he had his back to me. I mean, so did the guy at the meetup thing, the meetup.com thing I went to. The guy did have his back to me, so I couldn't really see anything. But just the pure fact that he was dangling his bit there, clearly, I got it pretty much. You know what I mean? I thought I'm gonna see something if I'm not careful. I just don't want to look. But yeah, I had to do that in Disneyland Paris. They're like cleaning. They're like, you go there, you go there. I'm like, what? And the guy, luckily, it was an angle, and he was having a pee, and the cubicles were there. So I'm quickly like, woo, quickly the toilet out again. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my lordy. That's why I tend not to use public toilets unless I'm absolutely desperate. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind using public toilets even though you're gender neutral, you go in the male toilets, don't you? Because you're still male in body and you're not cross-dressing or dressing in other clothing. So yeah, you still go in the male toilet. But yeah, so I don't want to see that from guys. So yeah, I mean, if you're a person that doesn't want to see that from guys as well, it's not good. I've never understood that. I don't understand why guys like peeing or why guys even pee in public. Even if I'd have been born a guy, I can't see me ever peeing in front of other guys in the urinal. I would have always used cubicles. If I ever go swimming, I can't swim. If I ever go, I'll rephrase that. If I ever go in a swimming pool or jacuzzi, even though I can't swim, I always get changed in a cubicle. I do not get changed in the open in front of other people to see me naked. It's like, no, my body's mine. You ain't seen me naked. I ain't been naked in front of a pile of strangers. I'm in the cubicle. Do you know what I mean? I'll go in a toilet if I have to get changed back into my normal clothes and dry myself off. And if I'm having a shower, I had to have a communal shower. I went with my friend who worked at Exmouth at the time. I went and she got to use the facilities, right? And she got me in for free. And we weren't in the swimming pool very long because she didn't really like it that much. We went in the jacuzzi and there was loads of people. She didn't really like it that much. So anyway, we got out after a short period of time. And, you know, and it was communal showers, men and women showers, both male and female together. And I'm like, oh my God, this is weird. I'm like, well, there's no way I'm stripping off. Sam, I would use women's, but I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So I use Deceiver if possible. Otherwise, males if I have to. Yeah. Sam, I feel very unsafe in men's public toilets. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you feel unsafe in them. I just you know, I just think it's private stuff, you know. But like, yeah, I couldn't believe it in Exmouth when there was literally only communal showers for men and women at the same time. Open, no doors on them. It just like so I think most people just showered in their swimming costumes. That's what I did. Which is weird. It's like you're not really getting the dirt off if you're showering in your swimming costume. Do you know what I mean? It's just weird. But obviously, I was no way going to strip off in front of a bloke. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not doing it. So that was bizarre. And I think I got changed in the toilet in the end. Took my, or was there, oh no, there was cubicles to actually take your clothes off. Private cubicles, that's right. But there was not private showers. There was just communal showers. Sam, that's what I used to do at school when we had to shower. Oh my God, when I had to shower, it was disgusting. I had to be naked at school because it was sports. It was sports and I hated it. And so there was no swimming costume and we were all made to get into showers and told to shower. And I had to shower in front of other people. I was feeling so horrible. Most of the time I used to get out of sport and PE. I got a verruca on my foot. I'm like, great. I'm glad I have a verruca. You refuse to get naked. I wish I could have done that. At our school, we were pretty much forced to do that. I did everything I could to get out of sport all the time. Yeah, I did it. I hated it because I was last to be picked for anything because people didn't used to like me. I was the last one to be chosen for stuff. So I used to be left out a lot, the last person to be chosen. And yeah, and I used to get out of sport if I could. I had a verruca. I'm like, good. I'll keep my verruca. I don't want it to go away. It's a good excuse not to get into the swimming pool, not have to go in the communal showers. But yeah, there was like the whole locker room was in front of people. And the showers was communal. It's horrible. I didn't do it very often, but I have done it. It's disgusting. I used to get made fun of as well, so it was horrible because I used to be bullied. So imagine being in blooming communal showers with bullies. Oh man, it's terrible. It's terrible. I hope if I ever become reincarnated, I never have to go again. I never have to go through all that rubbish again. It was really horrible. Hated it. You was bullied and worse. It's not nice, Sam. You know, I don't think anyone should be bullied. I think it's really sad. Really sad. I think everyone should be free to be who they are. And what's worse is that not worse than what you've had, but what's really bad at my school, even now, my old school, it's renowned for saying specifically it's an anti-bullying school, yet its reputation is people are bullied there. Now it's like, how can you do that? How can you pride yourself on being anti-bullying, yet you're one of the most, you're one of the top schools for having bullies there? It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. But then that's what I mean. People are deceiving. Schools are deceiving. Do you know what I mean? You've got to use your wits about you and think, but you wouldn't know the school was bullying unless you knew the reputation. But some people do know the reputation. They won't send their kids to the school I used to go to. My friend, one of my friends from school, she homeschooled her kid because her kid couldn't take it there anymore. Her kid's left now and grown up and got kids and just got married last year, I think it was. But she, when she was on the last year of school, she had to homeschool her kid because she was being bullied so badly there, And my ex's little brother went there, and he went, and his mum's like, "Oh, it's anti-bullying, it's great." And I was trying to say it's not a good school, but obviously I knew she's not going to listen to me, and so yeah, he was bullied, but then he had a mate that used to stick up for him. So then I think they ended up hurting other people, so they didn't get hurt. So yeah, it's like dog eat dog world in some areas and cases. It's not good. But I used to get girls trying to pick fights with me and I refused to do it, because I'm not into fighting. I don't like fighting. There's no point. It doesn't get you anywhere in life. It's best just to acceptance is key, or go your own way. If you don't agree with something, then just think, well, I'll move on to someone I do agree with. I know it might sound weird, but I learned later on in my life that it's best to be around like-minded people that are like yourself, people you can relate to, and there's someone for everyone. Like I think I said quite a while ago that there was this guy who I met on an asexual dating site. I friend requested him on Facebook, started talking to him. He goes, "No, I've seen your positive posts. I'm not interested in a person that posts like that. I don't like that type of thing." So there are some people that don't like positivity. They hate it. So do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be negative because some person hates positivity. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be that way. So, there's something for everyone, And I always think that, it's better to, instead of wasting your time, energy and effort, being around people that don't understand you. I'm not saying you shouldn't be open-minded and open to accept some different things. But I think if people are so different to you, then it's, you're putting your time, energy and effort. Because I did this in the past and it was kind of a mistake. I don't believe there's any mistakes because I think they're lessons you learn from. But I think I remember saying a long time ago that I did have one counselling session. They told me I should be around people that are more like me, like-minded. And I thought that's a bad thing, but actually they were right, because obviously me and Sam, although we're not identical, we've still got quite a few differences in terms of Sam loves history and I don't really like history and things like that. But we've got like minds on a lot of things, like strong boundaries, morals, that kind of thing. We like some of the same stuff, movies wise. We've got some similar values and beliefs which are quite core to our being, that are similar or the same. So you've got to look for people like that are kind of your people, that'll understand you. You don't want to be around people that rub you up the wrong way all the time, that just don't get you, because that makes you both feel weird. Into self-development, exactly. Sam's into self-development, I'm into self-development. And it's best, like, if you're going to get into a relationship with someone, the best advice I can give you as well is to get into a relationship with someone who wants to self-improve and self-develop themselves, who's not just out to take what they can get from the relationship and not contribute to it, which ends up me talking about the other subject I was going to leave for another video, because it's very, very important. You don't want to be with someone who's not developing and growing themselves as a person. Because that's the type of person, if they're not developing and growing themselves, it's more likely going to be like this guy that's saying to get another idiot that's actually being idiotic by the fact he's likely married, got children, and trying to chat up other women on the internet and video chat with them. That's the type of guy that doesn't want to improve his life, improve himself, probably, theoretically, because he'll be just so bored with his life that he'll be looking for outside things to stimulate him. When you're constantly trying to learn, develop, and grow yourself, you're more internalized and you're more trying to develop and grow yourself as a person. You've got more purpose in your life. You've got more fulfillment. You've got more drive, ambition, and goals and dreams. You've got more things to work on. You got more things to do. I mean, I've got loads of stuff this year I'm going to accomplish. Tons of stuff. And one by one, I will do them all. One by one, I will do them, right? I mean, one might spill into next year. But I know the ones I definitely want to get done this year. And I will make it happen, right? Because I'm that type of person, right? I know what I'm doing. I'm driven. I'm going to do it. I'm an action taker, Sometimes I feel a bit slower than other people, but that's, like some people just learn at different rates. I can be a really slow learner, but once I get something and really understand it deeply, I really understand it more than a lot of other people do. More than it kind of goes to an advanced level. So for me, it takes me a lot of months, sometimes years, to learn something that someone else can just pick up like that. But once I've got it and the penny clicks and I've really got it and understood it, I'm well away then. Do you know what I mean? It's like with iMovie. I really understand iMovie. 6 months it took me to learn that. And then in the end, I was I was teaching the instructor things. And I can do stuff with iMovie that's unbelievable. Some people probably won't be able to do. Like, for example, I can like, when I'm going to edit stuff, like I will click on a place, then I'll play it a little bit longer, then I'll click again, and it'll go, the way I click it, it'll go back to the original place that I was going to cut in the first place, but I was just checking it. it's a bit complicated to understand. But yeah, so basically I can make it flick back to originally where it's going to be cut, having actually gone further forward and played. Just be able to do like that. It's very interesting. Like probably why I can edit really quickly. Well, I say really quickly. I can edit a lot of stuff quickly, but it's not quickly editing overall. It's a lot of work. But yeah, so always get someone who can develop and grow themselves, because like otherwise you end up with people more that are unsatisfied in life because they're looking at externally instead of looking internally. If you get into a relationship, you should be looking to sort yourself out and help the person who's in the relationship with you. Do you know what I mean? You should be encouraging them to have open communication with you and to discuss things between yourselves. Communication is key to any successful relationship. And, you need to be with someone really who's into developing themselves. If you both are, I want a guy who's into developing himself. I can't be having a guy who's just sat on the couch doing nothing, or not trying to develop himself. Because if he's not trying to develop himself, where am I going to be within 5 years? He's just going to be sat watching TV and doing nothing much with his life. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be fulfilling for me. And when someone wants to develop themselves, they try to improve their life and themselves. It's better for a relationship going forward, because then, that person's going to work on themselves in their relationship. They're not going to be the type of person who goes, I'm so perfect, I'm so good, I haven't got nothing to change. You're going to have some difficulties where you've both got to think, is the person right? Is the person wrong? Or is it not a case of right or wrong? Is it a case of just we need to grow together, or compromise, or come to a decision, or just need to talk it out, basically, to understand each other's point of view, so you've got to understand that a lot of these people who are fakers and scammers and stuff like that, a lot of them will have some sort of like lack in their life, But, I do know that you can, so I do a lot of research, and I do know that, for example, like I'm not into BDSM, right? But there was this guy on ASAP who was foreign in this country into wanting a dominatrix. And, when I was looking at stuff like that, doing some research, a lot of the people that have got mistresses that like to be dominated are married businessmen. So just because they do want to like develop businesses, doesn't necessarily, I'm presuming they would want to develop themselves if they're developing businesses, but maybe not. Then, you know what I mean? Just because they're a business type of person doesn't mean to say they can't be someone who's dishonest, or, not being true to who they are, not being, honest with their partner and stuff like that. A lot of them are married men, I think. So yeah, so you have got to be wary of that. It doesn't necessarily ring true, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs that can cheat as well. I mean, I've come across some that do cheat, but there's also some really good entrepreneurs. I know I know a couple that are married, and they're very, very, well, more than a couple. They're very, very, guys are very devoted to their wives, and they really are proud to be with their wife, and they really love them to be part of their life. Do you know what I mean? So, I think, unfortunately, you've just got to try and suss the person out and stuff, and you try and get someone. If you're a really honest person, you've got to try and get someone who's open and honest as you. It's quite rare, I think, sadly. Like I come across people that make up excuses, and I know something is an excuse when they've said it like the same thing over and over again. Which, like there's someone, for example, I can't say what it is because I don't want to reveal their identity. Not that anyone would know them, but really, but there's someone who was going to come to one of my meetups a long time ago. They haven't actually come, so no one would know what they are, what they're like anyway. But they keep making up this. They approached me saying they want to come to a meetup, and every time I approach them now, they just make up the same reason as to why they can't come. I'd rather than just say, "Well, I've decided I'm not going to come," but instead they make up the same excuse and then say, "Oh, well, I hope to come one day." It's like, why didn't you just tell me? Thanks very much for getting back to me. I know I was the one who approached you about me, but I'm really not feeling it anymore and don't want to come. Why don't they just say that? But with some people, I just give up. Like with that person, I'll probably not ask them again, because there's no point when they keep saying the same thing over and over again. And it's something that's not, the excuse is not something they commonly do, like you do every day. That's why I know that it's just ridiculous. It's like not something you'd usually do, and especially not necessarily exactly the same days that I pick. You know what I mean? So anyway, but there's a new person coming to the meetup this time, so I'm really looking forward to meeting them. That's my meetup next month in April. But meantime, me and Sam have seen each other on Saturday. And that's what I'd say as well, you know, make sure that you see your like-minded friends who can cheer you up and make you happy and feel good and awesome. I cannot wait to see Sam. It's going to be so good. We're going to be pumped. Me and Sam are, yay! I always feel really energetic when I speak to Sam. Like, well, obviously, if I'm a little bit like, if I speak to Sam, I'm a little bit like down about something. I may not be as energetic as I usually am, but usually when I've seen Sam, I'm like, I'm buzzing, I'm buzzing, I'm buzzing. Because we do uplift each other quite a bit, and we're kind of like, even though we do different project things that are kind of like very different, because Sam does Space Era and I do like book writing and stuff, but Sam does writing stuff as well for Space Era. But you know, we really like to encourage each other with each other's projects. Sam wrote an article today. Yay! Well, yesterday now. Good on you. Yay! Yay for Space Era. I'm so proud of you. And I'm moving now because I'm feeling really excited because I can't wait to see you. Yes, so it's really important that if you have asexual friends that you're around like-minded friends as much as possible who really care about you and who are loyal, faithful, wonderful like Sam. I'm really blessed to have Sam in my life, I have to say. Really blessed to have Sam in my life. Thank you. I'm just waiting for your next book. Brilliant. Oh, bless you. Yeah. I mean, I just want to write loads and loads of books, to be honest. If I could, well, eventually, if I could have just one thing to do rather than loads of things that I do, I would literally write books every day of my life, 24/7, 365 days a year. Well, I'd have to stop to do these live streams, obviously, because I still want to keep in touch with you. And obviously I have to have time off to see Sam and other people, but I just love writing so much. You know, I haven't really done that much today. Well, I was working till the early hours, learning a new software, so I kind of didn't go to sleep till late. And then I've been rereading an Asexual Guide to Sex story. I have reread that today. I've read it quite a few times already, but there's something that's not, a couple of things that are not quite right. But yeah, I've just done major food shoppings tonight. So I haven't really done much work today at all. And I bought popcorn. Do you know something? Because of the panic buying, it's gone up by 5p. That popcorn was 60p last week and now it's 65. So yeah, my food shopping cost me a lot more because of the panic buying over the virus when I'm recording this now. Yeah. So there was not so much left. I had to buy more expensive stuff because they'd run out. I'm like, great. But yes, so I might tonight just decide to chill out with another movie and have my popcorn really late at night because I've only had one main meal all day. I haven't even ate properly today. And because I did phone my mum and talk to her for a while. An hour on the phone to my mum. And so I might just sit and watch a movie, have my popcorn, and then get back into the writing again tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Because I just got to make sure I'm a lot better than what I was. I just got to make sure I maintain my health. You know what I mean? I feel like having popcorn. I feel like just sitting eating popcorn and watching a movie. And then I might reread the story again once more tomorrow. But it's a story that's nearly finished now. Yeah, asexual. That one. I've still got other stories to completely complete. But yeah, Asexual Guide to Sex book. I can't wait. I'm so glad you're excited for it. Yeah, it's gonna be really, really good. I mean, it is really, really good book. I mean, I started writing. Actually, I did. I started writing some of my. I'm not going to show you what it is, but these are really scribbles, so you can't see them anyway. This is like what I'm purposely not showing you them, but this is like for one of my answers. Like a long time ago, I did actually write my answers out, but I never typed them up. But there was one question. I'm like, oh, I've got loads of stuff I can write about this now, which I probably didn't think of before. But if I did, I'll just be an extra. So I was like scribbling stuff madly. So when I was reading this person's story answer, I'm like, oh, but I need to scribble some stuff down for me. So yeah, but this is the story, a story I'm going to be working on this person's, which I mentioned yesterday's stream. I am really excited. I know Andy's waiting for the book to come out as well. There's quite a lot of people that's going to be wanting this book to come out. So yeah, I'm really eager myself to get it finished as soon as possible, I love writing books for asexuals. I really do. It's my favourite thing because I love writing, and asexuality, they're my favourite thing. But I'm going to be doing books for other niches as well, which is going to be. I have done books for other niches anyway because obviously I got my fibro book out. So I like this. It's a very good book. I know I wrote it, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying it's a good book. Mindset. If you need different things to do with mindset, like change your mindset, like overcoming depression and reducing anxiety, this is the book to get. Even if you haven't got fibromyalgia, there's still a lot of value in the book that can change your life. So I would recommend getting it because it's like Sam's got it. Yeah, Sam's got both these books, haven't you, Sam? You've got Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook and Asexual Perspectives, and they are in the description if you want to go and get a copy. I mean, this you can see I've used it a lot. This is why the corner's a bit damaged because this is a really, really big book, Sam, yay, yeah, you've got both. Look, but this is nicely brought, into nice, neat chapters so that, do you know what I mean? So that you can easily read it. It's got 47 asexual stories in that one. This one's autobiographical. So this one is literally all about how I manage my fibromyalgia and how you can too in 25 aspects of your life. So you manage your pain in 25 aspects of your life. But a lot of people have pain in these 25 aspects of their life without even having fibromyalgia. And the more you reduce your pain in these different internal and external environments, the happier you have and better quality of life you have and more energy. So, yeah. Sam, that layout makes it far easier for me to read than many books. Thank you. Yeah. I do that with this book as well on purpose. So I'm glad, Sam. Yeah, I much prefer this. This is why I write these books myself and this, because I have a problem with reading. I love writing. It's very unusual. I'm a writer that loves writing, but reading is really difficult for me. And it's like I've got a new book at the moment that I'm reading. And I'm reading the same thing every day, but it's actually broken down quite well, but it's kind of a lot of stuff to take in. And I think, like if I don't like reading fiction, because if I read fiction, it's just too much a lot of the time. It's just like, one is I can't really learn much from it. I don't think personally. I prefer to work in reality, in learn something and develop myself than a fantasy. And, it's just like the words and the paragraphs are so long. It's just like too much for my brain to take in. I like short chapters and things like that, short chapters, because I find it much easier for my brain to take it in. And so that's why I like my particular quirky books layout. I know it's different to other people's, but I seem to have good feedback from it though. People find it quite easier to read. So, these got subheadings as well, so it makes it easier to read. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of this one as well, because this one, I originally got diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 2012, and not even my parents can understand how much energy I have in comparison to other people with fibro. They don't get it. They're like, well, you're not like other people. I'm like, yes, because I purposely manage it well, and I do all this stuff for it that other people don't do, and that's what I put into this book. It's autobiographical. So if you like autobiographical accounts, even if you don't have fibromyalgia, just read it for the autobiographical stuff. You'll be kind of like thinking, oh, that's interesting. Sam, yeah, I have problems with reading. Breaking the books now is much easier for me. Breaking the books down is much easier for me. I don't read fiction novels, but I love world building and creativity, of course. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you love world building. Yeah. I mean, someone suggested to me, an asexual suggested to me in one of the comments recently that I write a novel for asexuals, but I told them I don't write fiction. The only fiction I ever write is for 3 to 5 year olds, children's picture books. I like writing that fiction. I haven't had anything published yet. I do like writing that fiction, which is obviously very, very different to Asexual Guide to Sex. It's kind of the opposite market. And I have got 2 stories I've written, which one day I might get published. But it was, if I self-publish them, it's going to cost a lot of money because they are heavily illustrated, and I need a professional illustrator. I need some good illustrator to do that. Plus, then it's all the formatting. It's a lot of money up front, a lot of money to get it. Even the pictures done, I think was going to be like 375 quid a few years ago just for the pictures. Do you know what I mean? Without it formatting and everything. Sam, I tried writing fiction stories and just couldn't do it. I prefer what I do with my universe and worlds. I can write fiction. I started a novel years ago. But I don't like doing it because I end up reading the same thing over and over again because I can try and remind myself where I am. And I get into too much of the character's head. And there's a lot of trauma involved. And because that's how you create tension, through trauma and things happening to the character that's bad and stuff like that. Love and hate are the two most powerful emotions, so you've got to shove them a lot in books. And so love normally leads to sex quite a lot in fiction, and then obviously a lot of the time trauma leads to death, accidents, rape, murder, and all that type of horrible stuff. So I don't like writing that, and I don't think, you know, like, people can't really learn much from that. I don't think, you know, it's just like a fantasy. I like writing books that change people's lives. That's why I love writing non-fiction. In 2009 I discovered that I was meant to write non-fiction, and I read this awesome book about how to write non-fiction, and I've learned a lot of stuff, and I just know that I'm meant to write non-fiction because it literally does change lives. I know my books change lives because I get people private messaging, both the fibro book and these. By the way, the links are down below if you want to get a copy. But yeah, they do change people's lives. So I know they do. I'm not just saying that because they're my books. I know they do. Because people tell me all the time. So that's why I love writing non-fiction books, because I know that I need to get a lot of books out. I've got a lot of books I need to write while I'm still alive to write them, you know. I kind of got this kind of mission, this drive inside me. I've got to get all these books out while I'm still alive, because when I'm not here anymore, people will still be learning from them. People will still be having their lives changed by them. And so that's my lasting legacy when I'm gone. Do you know what I mean? I know it might sound a little bit morbid, but it's like, you know, I always think in life in terms of like, what happens if I wasn't here tomorrow? What would I have wished the most I'd have done? Obviously, I love doing this channel, but the other is writing books. It's my one thing I want to do while I'm alive, is write the books. That's the most important thing to me. But it's hard when at the moment, honestly, I don't make a full-time living out of my writing. You know, I haven't got that many books out to make a full-time living. To make a full-time living, you kind of got to have really high niche topic market, which obviously asexuality is 1% of the population, or you've got to like really have a lot of books out. And I'm still getting books out. Actually, I saw one of my books recently has been selling, which is a technical book, so that's been quite interesting. SSL book has got nothing to do with asexuality. Random one keeps selling of that, so that's interesting. It's a good cover though. It's a really good book, although the site's kind of SSL stuff's kind of changed now. That's the problem with doing stuff that's changeable as well. You know, you kind of have to keep changing the book, whereas the fibro book has always been good, and so will the asexual perspectives. But yeah, I can't wait for my asexual guide to sex to come out, because it's literally going to change the course of history. One of my sexual friends messaged me today and said, "Oh, I saw your post about your latest book," and then they started saying, "Oh, is there going to be a lot of diagrams in it then?" And I said, "No, it's not that type of book. There's going to be no sex position stuff. No diagrams, nothing like that." I said, you know, it's an asexual guide to sex, not a sexual guide to sex. And obviously it's going to have the subtitle of asexual sex stories, sex help, sex advice, sex guidance, but there's going to be no picture in it. I guess if sexuals, I never thought of that, obviously, because it's a book aimed at asexuals predominantly, not sexuals. But I never even really thought about diagrams, because you don't need them. In the book, the asexuals that have spoken and given advice, they're very how can I say it, that they create, you know, you can visualize what you're meant to do just by them talking about it. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So obviously some give more general advice than others, some give more specific advice, and the one person in the book is awesome. I mean, they're the way they speak about it, you should just imagine it happening. How they said explicit. Is it explicit? Probably my bit will be the most explicit, actually, not other people's. No, like one of the questions is, what are you meant to do with your hands and arms whilst you're having sex. Because when I was in asexual forums, a lot of the people that asexuals that had sex before, uh, they didn't really understand what to do with their arms and legs, or either a thing about having it, or they've had it and they thought it was really awkward because they're like, I don't get what I'm supposed to do with my hands and legs, and what they're supposed to go. So in the book, it says stuff about that, but it just talks about it. There's no diagrams, So if there is any people that complain about there being diagrams, no, there's no diagrams, and there's no drawings. As soon as you start putting drawings in a book, it shoots the price up of the book, right? So that's something I don't want to do anyway, and I'm not going to do diagrams. It's not our type of book. Do you know what I mean? It's just a very, very well written book, because it's not just me that's done the writing. It's a lot of asexual interviewees, and I've worked with them. We've been editing backwards and forwards really intricately. So this has been a very, very big collaboration. Very big collaboration. So a lot of the asexuals, at least half of the book, have been, they've all written their own stories and they've all contributed hugely, but there are some that have contributed more over a 6-month period, and it's been really trying to express some stuff in words without showing pictures is harder. So it means a lot of going backwards and forwards, editing, trying to explain the scenario, set the scene, put things in context without giving the whole life story, but with giving their story, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if explicit. I mean, some of it is probably a little bit explicit with what happened to them during the first time they had sex, because obviously that's a question in the book as well. What happened when you first lost your virginity is a question. So some of that, is explicit, as in what happened. Sam, yeah, that is what is good about it. It gives personal experience and stories on the subject. Exactly. Gives personal experience and story on the subject. I don't think I know exactly what explicit means. Laugh out loud. Oh, explicit. I'm just gonna pour some more water because my throat's getting dry. I got a big bottle of water. Big bottle of water. Oh my lordy. I always have to say I'm pouring water. Oh my gosh, I've poured too much now. I'm just gonna have to go off camera and suck it up. There we go. But yeah, so I thought it meant just detailed. Okay, right. So explicit can mean in terms of sexual stuff. Explicit can mean so if someone's, for example, if someone's got an explicit video, it often means it's a sex video. Do you know what I mean? And if something's explicit, it means very detailed. But some people a lot of the time use the word explicit in a sexual sense to mean they're talking about really explicit sexual stuff. So they're talking about really sexual stuff like penis, vagina, coming, all those explicit type of words and things. So yeah, so you are right that it means detail, but in the sexual term, if you're using the words sexually explicit, so usually if it's sexual, it's called sexually explicit. If it's sexually explicit, it's revealing very, very personal details, which have a lot of sexual terminology and a lot of detail about what happened in the sex act itself. I mean, obviously you can get explicit videos, which are usually like porn videos. I don't tend to think sexually. Exactly. Yeah, so sometimes when I'm on this channel I'm a bit explicit with some of the language I use, and some of the things I say, but not so hardcore as obviously really sexual stuff, but I can be a bit explicit in my language. Even someone saying a vagina and a penis, that could be quite explicit to some people who don't like that type of language and want to shut their ears off, which I don't blame them. I mean, when I first heard someone talk about vagina, I'm like, oh my God, that's cringy. And I'm thinking, well, why aren't you like that, Sandra? It's just a matter of fact. It was an asexual that spoke about it actually in one of their videos. And they just talked about it as a matter of fact. I'm like, why are you cringing with that? I'm like, because I really don't like it. I'm thinking, but it's just fact, isn't it? Just don't get emotionally involved with it. You're asexual. You don't need to worry about that. It doesn't really affect you because you're not having sex. So what does it matter? And that's when I kind of started using it more in my videos. I'm like, oh, well, I'll just say the word. So I get so used to it. It doesn't matter, bother me anymore. So yeah. But yeah, there is, there's different accounts in the book. Some are like more easier, like, because obviously I'm a personally sex repulsed asexual, and it is Asexual Guide to Sex. Some of it, when they're talking, is very, very more explicit, more in detail than others would be. It's more sexually revealing than others, because obviously different people have sex in different ways, do different things in it. Some people are very vanilla, which means they just like have straightforward sex, like with the guy on top or whatever. Usually vanilla sex is where a guy's on top and it's a traditional guy girl type of thing, where or I guess if you were a gay guy, then a guy up another guy's bum is vanilla sex, because it's just normal guy sex. Do you know what I mean? So if it's a heterosexual couple, vanilla sex is like the guy traditionally goes on top of the woman and has sex. Do you know what I mean? So there's normal, there's normal, nothing's normal, but there's kind of more regular type of sex stuff in the book, and then there's more explicit, as in tried a lot more things. I always thought it was just lay down, in and out, ha. Oh, if you thought it's just lay down, in and out, ha, you'll probably be quite interested. It's not just like that a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, in really simplistic terms, lay down, in and out, ha. Well, yeah, I guess in very, very in a very, very simplistic terms, but it's not as easy as that. I mean, some people can't even understand how to do that exactly. Do you know what I mean? There's like moving parts and things you've got to remember. You know what I mean? Oh dear me. But yeah, I think I'll have to be. I've tried to get all the asexuals in the book to write as though people don't have any knowledge of sex, so that the asexuals that read it are the ones that have had no sex whatsoever and don't know what they're doing. Sam, I've learned quite a bit through your videos, etc. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, because in the book, I mean, I don't want to patronize anyone, so I've got to be careful the way I do it. But in the book is specifically aimed at those asexuals who are thinking about trying it for the first time and never had it in their life. So the way I've tried to work with my interviewees is to make it more of a like kind of a really detailed guide to sex, but that probably a teenager could easily understand, really easily understand. You know, so that it's really, that everyone can get it, because I wanted to, because there's a lot of terms in there. Some of them you might not specifically know, but most of the terms, like some of them I haven't even really heard of much before. Some of the terms, like what I wanted to do is like what I wanted to do is really explain in detail things to people as if they'd never had much to do with sex at all, because loads of asexuals haven't read the book. Obviously, people who are not asexual, that are virgins, for example, they will really do well from looking at the book. They will do well from reading it, because it'll really put things in basic terms that many other sex books don't know. A lot of sex books think you have prior knowledge of a sex, which obviously many asexuals don't. That's why I wrote the book. Like I said, a lot of asexuals, they don't know what to do with their hands and arms and legs and feet and stuff like that when they're having sex, with their hands and legs, basically. It doesn't come naturally to them, which obviously, as Sam pointed out, Sam doesn't, Sam thought it was just in and out, lay down, in and out. It is in theory, but like it's like, like where does a woman, or well, it might not be male and female, it might be two blokes or whatever, but it's like, like if I'm having sex, I need to kind of think, is the guy going to be on top? Is the female going to be on top? Where are my legs going to be positioned? Like you can, for example, you can change the position of your body. This is going to get a bit sexually explicit. Excuse me if you're sex repulsed asexual. So you can, for example, I suppose I might go into some of this in the book. I don't know how much I'm going to go into in the book, but I've got a lot of experience, so I guess I'll probably be going into the far more detail than a lot of people will. But so if a woman, for example, I'm a woman with a guy, I can change the way I have my legs, which I don't want to say it because it's talking too much about sex, but if I won't even put it as myself, but so if for example, oh god, I hate even talking about this. Right, I'm gonna get used to it. Right, so if the man is having sex with the woman and the woman wraps her legs around him in a certain way, she can feel him penetrating her more. I've said it now. Oh, all right, Sam. The only thing I would change about my body is to get the hell out of the situation. Laugh out loud. Yeah. That's a good idea, Sam. Well, you wouldn't be in the position in the first place, don't think. But then some guys can try and take advantage, can't they? So yeah, yeah. Get out of the situation. It's a good one. It's a good one. Obviously, everyone who's asexual in the book has had sex before. That was the condition of the book because people are telling their own asexual sex stories. So everyone in the book is an asexual that's had sex before, telling their own personal story. Some have had good experiences. Some have had bad experiences. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But yeah, so the woman can, if a woman's with a guy having sex, she can change how she positions herself, which can provide more penetration and stuff like that. It's getting very personal, you know. I know a lot about sex. It's like I've been in heterosexual relationships for over half my life, you know. So I kind of have quite a bit of experience compared to other asexuals. Oh my god. I don't even believe I'm talking about this. I haven't even talked about the different position stuff and where the woman's body is. But I'm going to talk about that somewhat in my asexual guide sex because I'm going to talk about a woman being on top because I think a lot of the time traditionally the guys are on top. But I think a woman being on top sometimes can be very advantageous to the woman. Sam, yeah, I'm interested in learning other point of view and experiences with plenty of tea breaks and rest. You're going to have plenty of rest, Sam. I think some of them. There's a couple in there. I think you'll be okay with. Like, you know, it won't be too bad. You'll be like, okay, that's all right. You know, I can think of a couple. You know, that I think you'll be fine with. There probably is possibly more than a couple, but there's some that is, you know, like. I've got used to it more, but there's one story, the one I'm currently working on, which is essential to the book. I mean, it's a very, very important story, and it's quite detailed. But I've worked really close with the interviewee, and it's really like I can't explain enough how grateful and thankful I am to this individual for contributing to the book. Because their contribution to the Asexual Guide to Sex book is very imperative, and you'll understand why. This is JG's story, the one I'm currently working on. Yeah, JG's story. Sorry, I'm looking away. JG's story. That's the one I held up. That's the one I'm working on at the moment. It's a very, 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 very interesting story, and that's the one that was very explicit in the beginning, but we've kind of like worked on it a lot. So you've got a lot of context now. There's a lot more context in there than when I first originally was working with JG on their story. There's a lot of context in there which is very relevant and which kind of soothes out some of the more like, oh my gosh stuff. You know. And so it's all got context, and it's all situational, and they give really good advice, which is very interesting with their experiences. I can't say much, I don't want to give it away. It's a very interesting story, and it's almost finished now, and I've worked really hard with this person. They've worked tremendously hard. So yeah, with this one you probably will may need a bit of a break, or may like, oh my god, really? Oh my god, okay. Maybe I didn't want to know that, but I'm intrigued, but I don't I do want to know it, but I don't want to know it. But yeah, it's a very, 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 very interesting story. I'm really proud of everyone that's taken part actually, but the people that have devoted, like JG's devoted a lot more extra time, because there's some people who have answered 2 sets of questions for the more in-depth help, advice and guidance, and other people have answered 1. This person, JG's, answered 2 sets. So they've spent a lot of time. They've been one person who's worked over 8 months. Over 8 months, is it? June? What are we in now? March? Yeah, it's been like 8 months they've been working with me over a period of time. Obviously, some of that time I've been ill, so I haven't actually been working directly with them on it, but over that period of time. So yeah, their story's incredible, and there is some moments in that story that is, like, quite difficult to take in as a sexual repulsed asexual. But I've worked as best as I can with them to make it as contextual as possible, and you have to read it to understand it anyway. Like, story's got quite, got some contrasting stuff in it, which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting reading. And I know the person's like, even though the stuff they've put in their story is as a sex repulsed asexual is kind of hard to take it sometimes. They're such a lovely person. Like, when they're messaging me, like, obviously I've been sick, as you know. They message me to make sure, like, I'm all right, and they're worried about me and stuff like that whilst we're working on the story. Like, oh, I haven't heard from you, Ro. I hope you're okay, but I saw you in the groups and on Facebook, and I know you're okay. And they're like, they're really sweet like that. So yeah, so it's very interesting to see a story where there's quite a lot of stuff that for a sex repulsed asexual would kind of make me a bit like, eek. But I know this person's got such a beautiful heart. They're such a lovely person, because obviously I see the rest of the stuff they email me about, the way they phrase things, the way they're supportive of me in everything I do. Like, don't work too hard. Make sure you put yourself first and your health and stuff like that. They're a very sweet person, very sweet person. And so that's been a really nice experience personally for me, to see the contrast between what a person's actually written and the person behind the writing, as it were. They're a really, really kind, beautiful, loving heart person, really, really nice person. And someone who I kind of admire from that point of view. So yeah, but their story is incredible. The book wouldn't be the same without their stories. It's imperative it goes in. There's another story that's very, like, whoa, do you know what I mean? A different story entirely, really. But yeah, that's very whoa as well. So, but yeah, I think you might need tea breaks, rest, and a sick bucket just in case. If you're a sex repulsed asexual, it's not that bad, but it could be if you're really sex repulsed, I guess, some bits of it. If you really hate anything to do with that. But in other ways, you'll be just singing, thank God there's a book like this. Thank God there's someone speaking out on asexual behalf who's really making a difference. All these asexuals make a difference to anyone who picks up the Asexual Guide to Sex book will have their life completely changed. Their mindset can't go back to, like, not believing that asexuality is true. If you've got someone who picks a book up and really doesn't believe in asexuality, or that it truly exists, or that we exist, just by reading it, they'll really understand it. I mean, there is no psychology, doctor, sexpert, or anything that could give you the first-hand experience like these asexuals are giving you in this amount of detail. They just can't do it. Talking about people who asexuals have had sex, or talking about asexuality, is very different to actually being it and experiencing it. With this book, you'll actually get real life experiences of people that have gone in depth on very intimate parts of life to help other people. And it's all very well being a sex expert, being some psychologist or dating coach, but unless you really are asexual and understand asexuality on a fundamental, deep, foundational level, and actually can experience the experiences that other asexuals have, you can't really have the same effect. I know that no kind of clinical physician or, like, person who's not asexual could write a book better on what it's really like to be asexual and live with a sexual person, or have a sexual relationship with a sexual person, or be in a sexual relationship. There's no other book like it. Do you know what I mean? You can't replicate it. You can't be some theory. Do you know what I mean? That's what's different about this book. It's like a really insightful book. I mean, there's a lot of people, asexuals, that just wouldn't have the guts to come forward to even do anything like this. They'd be like, my private life's private. I don't want people knowing about it. And it brings up a lot of past. For some of these people, it's brought up some kind of upsetting times as well. I'll be honest. It's brought up some emotions that aren't, necessarily in their favor. And that's difficult for the individual, but they've thought it's worth doing because they want to help other asexuals, and I just think that's really admirable. It's so I think I'm blessed and fortunate to be the person that's the author of the book, yet having all these other asexuals write their own stories. Like I said, there's a lot of people that wouldn't do that. I mean, each person volunteered to do their story. Some have done more in depth than the others, and I just thank each and every one of them. They're all valid, but I have to say the book is like a complete immersive experience like no other. Honestly, when you have these immersive experiences, like you have the 3D headset, for example, in virtual reality, or you have like a 3D, like you go into a cinema and you watch 3D movie, you're kind of sucked into the movie. You feel like you're in the movie, right? More, you might have some experiences in like simulators and stuff like that. It kind of is very similar experience, in my opinion. When I'm reading the book, I'm kind of feeling like I'm in the person's position who's the asexual. I'm experiencing what they're experiencing, although I'm not physically experiencing it. I'm kind of experiencing it on a more mental, psychological level, and that I'm really understanding how life was for them at that time they were having sex, or if they're still having it, and how their life has gone in that way, and specifically how sex feels to an asexual person, different types of asexual people, that you can't replicate that. There's no person who can come along and give their psychological opinion or physician opinion, or like sometimes I get people writing me, like these clinical psychologists, they write me emails, oh, I've put this article together. Do you know what I mean? And loads of asexuals might like that type of thing. I personally don't. I'm not interested in clinical, like I know a lot, some asexuals are interested in that. I'm not interested in a clinical like version of asexuality, or what a clinical physician who's not asexual thinks about asexuality, or some theory about it. You know what I mean? I want reality. That's why I do this. This is why I do this show. It's like a reality TV chat show. I pretty much do. It's reality of my life. I'm living, breathing asexual day in, day out, and it's all the sexual situations that people try and push me into, like that guy on the chat, video chat tonight, and and it's like with asexual dating relationships and like friendships, even all that type of thing. I like to actually show people through my life what it's really like to be asexual in this highly sexualized world, what it feels like, what it genuinely is like. And in the book, this is what the Asexual Guide to Sex book does best. It's not some physician or some expert or some psychologist, or like it's people who are speaking from their heart, and they're speaking from their personal experiences. And like the Asexual Perspectives book shows you the asexual spectrum, it doesn't just tell you, it shows you. So it's not just giving textbook definitions of it. The Asexual Guide to Sex book shows you what it's like to have sex as an asexual. Sam, I prefer insights from people who have some experiences in the situation, whatever that is. Yeah, that's what I prefer. Sam as well. That's what I prefer. I like real life experiences. There's quite there's some people who have written books on asexuality and they're not asexual. And okay, everyone's entitled to write their own books and do whatever. But ones that have got no experience of asexuality, it's a lot of theory. Sam, no one can tell someone else what they feel in their heart. Only the person themselves can know their truth. This is really good, Sam. I like that. No one can tell someone else what they feel in their heart. Only the person themselves can know their truth. I think that's very good. I think I should use that as a quote to go with the Asexual Guide to Sex book. But obviously, that's not a quote from the book. But I think it's a very perfect quote. Perfect. Your own perfect quote is that it's exactly right. No one can tell someone else what they feel in their heart. Only the person themselves can know their truth. Exactly. And I don't believe any kind of like person who hasn't experienced something really can understand it. Like, it's very interesting for me because I'm an asexual that has had sex before, to see other people's asexual sex story. It's not just my own. it's very, very interesting because I can see how I differ to other people, how my experience is very different to other people's. For example, one of the things is there's difference to some asexuals is I fully experience the experience. Like some asexuals feel detached from the experience. I don't ever feel detached from it. I was completely there in the moment in the sense of doing it. But my mind did wander. I'll be putting that, but my mind wandered, which is quite common for asexuals, according to my book. Yeah, my mind wanders, because it's hard when like you're not really completely like wanting sex. Your mind does wander onto other things. So yeah, but I was fully in the moment. I could feel everything. Everything was fully real for me like that. I don't fantasize anyway, so there's no fantasy stuff going on. Yeah, so like you said, no one can tell someone else what they feel in their heart, only they know the truth. And I really do feel though in the book as well that you can feel other people, although you're not the person in the book. The stories of the you're not the person whose story it is in the book. I really feel that you can understand and know the person's story as though you're experiencing it yourself a bit. The courses that I do have a peer tutor that assists the course and has experience in the field, whichever the course happens to be. It's more real to me than someone reading from a text manual. Thank you, Sal. Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to write my own books. Like there's some business people, entrepreneurs, and they literally pay someone to write a whole book for them on different topics. They make a lot of money doing it, actually. They'll just pick a subject, and if they don't need to know anything about themselves, they just pay someone else to write it for them. But I don't do that. I've never done that to this date. I'm not saying, you can't do that. And obviously, when I'm getting other people to have stories, I'm not the only one writing the full book. But I've got experience of having sex myself, but there's going to be like, for example, the asexual love story book I'm going to be doing. I haven't actually found the person who I'm meant to be in a relationship with. So when I do that book, that'll be unusual because I won't have actually experienced asexual love myself. So that'll be a different type of book. But obviously, it'll still have other people's experience, which will, again, is much better than reading from a text manual, you don't have to have experienced every type of experience yourself. Like in the book, obviously, there's not just my experience, the Asexual Guide to Sex. There's lots of other people's, like the asexual sectors. There's other people's experiences, not just mine. That is so important, like you say, other than reading from a text manual. That's why I know the Asexual Guide to Sex book, in my personal opinion, is going to be the best book ever written about sex, because it completely breaks the conventions of norms. It breaks the stereotypes of asexuals for a start, because there's a lot of stereotypes that asexuals never have sex. All of us, obviously Sam and other people, there's a lot of asexuals that don't have sex ever. Sam's not had sex before. There's a lot of people that haven't had sex before. So do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that are virgins, and do you know what I'm saying? It's fine to be an asexual that's like that, but there is a stereotype that all asexuals have never had sex, they're never going to have sex, they don't want anything to do with it. And so actually, in and of itself, just writing an asexual guide to sex book will be very interesting. But there's also quite a significant amount of asexuals that are interested in the topic of sex and know more about it out of curiosity, because they don't really get it. They don't really compute in their brain. So obviously they can learn a lot from the book like that. And, there are some asexuals that want to try it, or they want to do it because they're with a sexual partner and they think, well, I'll do this anyway, give it a go, see what it's like, So, and some asexuals might like doing that, they might like it as an activity to do. So we're all different. But it's going to be so much better than reading a text manual. That's why I really believe it's going to be the best book on sex and asexuality, specifically together, and even like in and of itself, because asexuality, you can tell the difference between someone who has sex and is sexual and someone who has sex and is asexual. You'll be able to understand that in the book on the fundamental level, deep level. That's why I know the book's going to be really different to every other book you ever read on sex. And there's a lot of questions I ask the interviewees. I've been very strategic in asking certain questions. to really get down. I've basically thought, I'm 16, like if I'm thinking back to when I was 16 years old, when I was first asked to have sex, or pressurized in my case, what would be the questions and answers that I'd want to know before I tried sex? What would I really want to know all the answers to? If someone was sat in a room and they were saying, okay, Sandra, like, I know you're thinking about having sex. What questions have you got for me? In the questions in the Asexual Guide to Sex book are all the questions that I would want to ask, plus more besides, to a person that was sat in front of me. And I'd want to get all their experience and knowledge. That is why the book is so good. I mean, I didn't even know there was a thing called boundaries and assertiveness in relationships. I only learnt that as a actual birth certificate age adult in 2013. I mean, that is a really long time to not really understand boundaries and assertiveness. I wish I'd known that before I had sex. So that's, some asexuals feel they've got enough experience in that is going to advise in that, because there's certain asexuals that have given extra help, advice and guidance, and there's other ones that aren't, and the ones that are the ones that feel they can, like they can actually give the advice through their experience. Others haven't answered, haven't gone on to give more in-depth answers, or haven't gone on to answer more in-depth questions because either it triggers them too much from their past, or they found the questions too difficult, they haven't got enough experience, that type of thing. So I only want to bring the best type of book out for asexuals to read. So with the amount of experience that is in the book, it's just incredible. There's not obviously every type of experience that everyone's ever experienced, but there's a lot in there, and it's really interesting to read the contrasting stories. Some of them are vastly different, but you can always tell throughout all of the stories, you can always tell the difference between how an asexual thinks about sex, feels, and thinks and feels, particularly thinks about it, compared to the sexual. That's what I would say throughout the whole book. You really understand the brain and the mind of an asexual person. That's how we're really different to sexuals. We're very different. Our mindset is so different in terms of its attitude towards sex. It's like a mind has a mind of its own, and a lot of that spills over into feelings and emotions as well. So I'm just like really looking forward to the book. I do want sexuals to buy it as well. I want really as many people as possible to buy the Asexual Guide to Sex. I hope that many asexuals share it on their pages and post with their friends and encourage everyone to buy it, because I think only really through this book at the moment is people who are asexual and sexual really going to understand each other. And I think it's only really going to be that sexuals can really, if they're reading a book, can really understand asexuality in regard specifically to sex, attitudes towards sex, thinking towards sex, and feelings and emotions and thoughts from an asexual point of view. I don't think there's, currently going to be a book like it on the market. There isn't, because I do my nearest thing's my own book, right? So when I had a publisher interested in the Asexual Guide to Sex, but they decided no, because it was too risky for them. Risky. I'm a risk taker. But anyway, I'm covered by my business insurance. They said they would have to get lawyers and everything, but my business insurance is covering all my books. So I checked it with them in my renewing policy. So everyone's, apart from me, is anonymous anyway. I mean, you can't identify the person. So there's no full names used that's identifiable. So like they asked me to do research, because I had to do, when I was doing a proposal, even though they approached me, I had to do research on what was the nearest book to the Asexual Guide to Sex. It was my own book. Asexual Perspectives. I'm like, well, I've researched the market, and Asexual Perspectives, which is Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity, is the nearest book to Asexual Guide to Sex. So I'm competing with my own book. Way! But not really, because this is more of a breakdown of asexuality and the asexual spectrum and all the different points of view in it, and shows you the asexual spectrum. So this is more of a beginner's guide to asexuality, but showing you rather than telling you different definitions. Whereas the Asexual Guide to Sex is specifically focused on just those asexuals that are thinking about having sex for the first time or curious to understand how asexuals feel, think about sex, curious to know more, or friends of asexuals that don't really understand what asexuality is and what's different about sex, why they do or don't like it, or what we think or feel about it truly. Parents of asexuals, relatives, teachers, partners, any partners that are sexual, that with asexuals, I mean, they should definitely get the book because they'll really understand asexuals a lot better. Fundamentally understand us a lot better. I mean, you can't not when you read the Asexual Guide to Sex, but there's no way you could come across, away from the book saying I don't understand like the asexual mind in comparison to the sexual mind, unless you're just being really ignorant. Do you know what I mean? It's because it's complete immersive experience like no other, and you're just gonna understand. Really, I mean, I understand it even more. Like when I write the book, it's like when I wrote the Asexual Guide to Sex book, I learned so much more about the asexual spectrum just by writing it. And when I'm writing the Asexual Guide to Sex, because I've only had my own sexual experience, and I don't really talk that much to other asexuals about their sexual experience, because one, I don't really like to pry into their private life on that deep level, even though obviously my interviewees are doing that. I do talk about sometimes my past sexual experience, but I don't tend to pry too much into other people's unless they want to share that stuff with me, on a one-to-one basis. So I haven't really got that much experience of what other asexuals feel like about having sex from an actual practical point of view rather than a theory point of view, which is what the book Asexual Guide to Sex covers. So for me, it's been a very interesting experience writing and reading about the other stories. Do you know what I mean? It's been very, very I can relate to quite a few of the stuff, even though it's different. I can relate to the mindset, particularly the way they feel and think about sex. Particularly, like, I noticed a lot of the asexuals are giving a bit of stuff away, but I've already said it tonight, is that, a lot of asexuals do end up thinking about other things when they're having sex, because sex is not really our main interest. So it's kind of like, we'll kind of like zone out a bit and think about other things. That's a common theme going throughout the book, that we tend to focus on other things and our mind just wanders because we're not really, even if we're in the moment, we're not completely in the moment like that, a lot of us. Do you know what I mean? So I just think the Asexual Guide to Sex book is just an eye-opener. I don't think there's anything like it, and I don't think there'll be another book specifically like this for a long time. And anyway, it's the first of its kind and unique, But I wish that every asexual will say to their sexual friends, buy this, buy this, buy this, because it's just going to be great. I really think that, it'll go down in history as, if people take notice of the book, that, it's a one book that can literally change the course of history where asexuality is concerned, because no more will people say asexuality is a fallacy, it doesn't exist, it's not real. I don't get it. They'll be able to literally understand it. You can't not understand it. If you read it, you're just like, oh, you come away like, that was a very interesting experience, because it literally is an experience and insightful like no other, and it's powerful, very, very powerful, has a powerful effect on me. I mean, but I've got a lot to write on my side of the story, a lot of stuff. I've got so much stuff I need to write for the book, so that's going to be very interesting. And it's going to bring up a lot of memories that I'd forgotten about, which it's already started to do. So this is going to be really interesting, yeah. So, but yeah, and these are all genuine asexuals that have actually had sex in the past, or people on the asexual spectrum. So yeah, there's a final story at the end of the book that's a bit different to the rest of the stories as well, so that's even more interesting as well. Anyway, yeah, so I hope that's given you a lot of insight into the Asexual Guide to Sex book. I have said a few things more about it now. I hope that every asexual is going to buy it, or tell someone to buy it, get their friends to buy it, their family to buy it, just get everyone that's cynical and doesn't believe in asexuality to read it. Everyone, I hope people share it on all their Facebook profiles and stuff, and encourage all their friends to get it. And You know, because I mean, it's gonna, like, people who are not asexual, it's gonna make them think about buying it anyway because of the title. You know, they'll be interested to know more, and that's what we need. We need eyeballs on our asexuality, to especially from sexuals, so they finally can understand that asexuality is true, real, it exists, and this is what it actually feels like to have sex to an asexual person. You know what I mean? Not just chit chat about it. It's much better. Anyway, I'm going to conclude the video tonight. I want to say a big thank you to Sam, my awesome best friend, for being in the chat and for having a wonderful online chat with me tonight. It's been very good. Sam's been a hugely amazing contributor tonight to this channel. Thank you for buying my book, Sam. I know you're looking forward to the Asexual Guide to Sex, even though you're sex repulsed. So that's really, really, really lovely of you. I know there's been someone else watching the whole time tonight, so I'm not sure who you are, but lots of love to you. I really appreciate it. I know there's been some other people tuning in off and on as well, so I love you dearly. Thank you, Sam. Great video. Oh, thank you so much. We've covered a lot tonight, so yeah. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go because my voice get a little bit croaky, and I want my popcorn. I think I'm gonna have popcorn at 2:30 in the morning, probably. That's what I'm like. I'm balmy. I love it. Anyway, don't forget to, if you're new to this channel, click the big subscribe button down below. Click the bell icon to get notified every time I post a new video or go live like now. Don't forget to get the Asexual Perspectives book and the Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. I'm going to say buy both because they are awesome books. They are awesome books. You're going to learn stuff anyway. They're worth getting, seriously, even though I wrote them. Obviously, the Asexual Perspectives one, loads of other people took part in that as well and wrote it. So, yes, thank you very much, Sam. Thanks for getting my book, Sam. I know you're avid Sandra Bellamy book buyer follower, as well as my best friend. I love you dearly as my best friend. You're incredible. Thank you so much, Sam. They are awesome books, says Sam. They are awesome books. You see? Sam's even saying they're awesome books. Go and buy a copy. You won't regret it. You'll learn lots of stuff. And the Asexual Guide to Sex book when it comes out. Gotta get that. So yeah, anyway, night, Sam, and take care. Embrace your quirky and each other's, everyone. Bye, Sam. Thanks for saying my books are awesome. Take care. Bye.